Any sound. There we go. Let's try and broadcast sound for once. I messed it up when we did the D&D on Friday. Let's try it again. Welcome back to Accounts of the Night Beast. Took a couple weeks off, real life shenanigans, other stuff kind of got in the way, but we're back and we're continuing the story. Episode 8, entitled Obey. Last session, they have started the plotting and planning and have commenced a lot of operative work in interjecting themselves into the Comus offices on the Comus pylon to shut down the broadcast of the hegemonic news team that basically pumps out propaganda and also kind of keeps the pylons interconnected in a way that is not conducive to rebellion standing against that. So that being said, we ended last session with a lot of notes taken. The primary one that's probably still on the top of everyone's minds is the unfortunate and tragic demise of a man who was just trying to have some fun on his time off. And names are off. Great, wonderful. That always happens. I love this game. So you go there. But if you want to go ahead and discuss amongst yourselves while I fix some technical shenanigans, what you learned and what we're going to do to move forward.
So what had happened was
I could have started.
we were trying we were trying to determine what would happen if someone didn't show up for their shift. So Dax distracted one of the workers, and what happens is they get thrown into a concentration camp if they have three hits on their record, and they don't get replaced immediately anyway.
Oh,
So that happened.
Which seems to be night beasts feeding on them.
Yeah,
like it's like a night beast camp.
It's a
like a farm.
So the concentration camp, to be very, very specific, the pylon that the rebel group on the ground, or rather the pilgrims, were nearby and had kind of had issues with. They had blocked it off with walls and fortified themselves against the pilgrims, was apparently a farming ground for night beasts. They are growing them, and they manage that farm with indentured labor.
Yeah, so I boinked a dude and got him thrown in jail.
Yep.
Well,
if it was us, it would have been something.
I just had the.
We weren't the first two strikes, to be fair.
I just had the
fair.
funniest beat on that though. Like, so he's working and like he's setting down one of the lipped eggs and he's looking at it and it kind of zooms in on it and he's like, I should call her.
Oh God.
Nice.
Yes.
No, oh my God.
You know, I'm gonna log off.
I'm gonna log off. I'm just gonna log off.
Wait,
That's enough for tonight.
Like, I don't get it.
Good game, guys. Good
What?
game.
I was like, what does that mean? What do you
Oh
mean?
no, Johnny's confused.
Oh,
It's just making it worse.
I had a long flight. I don't understand. What
So
you
you
guys
know
are
the
talking
dune bucket.
the what?
The dune bucket.
The dune bucket. Oh, that's what it
my
looks
God,
like.
no!
That's what it looks like now. Oh, that's perfect.
Okay. So
That's a dune bucket. Is that what that Oh,
Never. That goes in the cupboard with succubi.
yeah.
Keep going.
How did okay, so we figured out, so you figured out that that's what happens to those
Okay. So
uh-huh.
like a couple other things. So the place that we need to get is there's like a double security layer plus guns, like big fucking guns. So we need to be able to get in, and like we have kind of like a theory of how we're getting in. I don't know how it's gonna work now that we don't have Steve. Or was he even here for this part? Of course
He
he
wasn't.
wasn't. That's
He
why all
wasn't.
this shit happened.
He wasn't.
Okay. That's why things happen. All right. So we're gonna go in. We have a shield, the Earth shield thing, and if we can get in and then just like unplug the guns, we should be good. But it's not going to be like a quiet entry because we're gonna have to shoot the laser grid and then take out the guns and then we can get in.
So
Wait,
that sounds more like an assault than an infiltration.
Yeah.
I thought Chemical Steve was overriding a badge for me to go in with maybe Orin, his
Right.
CPU, I guess, and
Yeah,
bump
with
into another.
Oh,
Like maybe me and Orin would go in.
like
and
you're gonna be the
deactivate.
replacement for a day.
Yeah.
So like there's multiple options, I guess. But also I've been burned. Like they have my face on record. Because before the shenanigans, I was upstairs looking for an entry point through like service corridors and stuff. So I was poking around in a church, and they're like, "That's suspicious."
And John, real quick, just a quick interjection. And what did that do for your engagement roll? That specific thing.
We
No,
have
no, hold on, John. I want John to.
Oh.
Yeah, good luck.
What did that do for your engagement roll, John? What for your?
It added a It added a die.
Gave you a bonus dice, did it?
Gives a bonus die.
That's crazy. So before the game, he was like, "Yeah, I remember it's having no penalties." So yeah, you do have a penalty to your engagement roll to start.
Yeah.
Because of that. Okay. And then what else? Magpie, sorry to cut you off.
So there is potentially like a la Ant-Man breaking into Pym Industries, like a way to go down, but there's like a fan or something that we would have to disable. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct. There's a cooling fan.
Okay. So that is an access point, but also they're aware that I was poking around in a church for no fucking reason. So they're kind of suspicious of me. So I can't be like, if we're gonna infiltrate discreetly, I can't be there. Essentially. Or they'll be like, you.
Right.
Could we disguise you?
I mean, we could try.
So I will say this. In the past, week, Lupita had basically a blank canvas to work on and had her own drag daughter in the shape of Beko.
Yeah.
And now, Dax, maybe you have to take the place of my late daughter.
Yeah.
So another note, and I don't know if this was taken. I just want to make sure this one was because it involved Chijo. They asked you to, the brain, figure out how many people are in there. And does anybody have that note?
It was, so there's 20
24.
per. Yeah. So there's 20 people, and I think 4 are bots.
So correction.
Is that right?
It's not 28 people, and there are 12 people per staff. There are 2 per shift. So
Okay.
right, there's 28 people, 24 of which are shift switchers. So there's technically 48 workers who work at the site, but 24 of them work during the day, first shift, and 24 of them work during the night, second shift. There is no third shift. There are only 2 shifts.
I mean,
12 hours, 12
technically
hours.
there's 23 during the day.
Well, now that would be, there's one less. And because the replacement, the person who was coming in to replace it, they've been sidelined, and that person's identification has been taken over by Chemical Steven for use by Zelry. If you want to, you do not have to do that. if you do not want to. But you would be basically tossing her into the lion's den, in a sense. But it would give you a person on the inside and more intel on the interior. Okay, good. And then the other 4 are people who never leave and apparently never sleep, that are always just in there. And then does anybody want to tell Jijo about the people who came to get our unfortunate...
No. Okay, listen. So I'm just there doing my thing, and these 2 guys.
Can we
like,
say it correct though? Doing your thing? Can we just like say
thing, doing my thing.
Okay.
I was doing my thing, and these 2 guys. So basically, like, that one like agent that replicates in frickin' Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically creepy like that. So they come into his room without knocking, by the way. Put on gloves. They put on gloves.
They were wearing gloves the
And
whole
then
time.
Well, yeah, but they put them on though. At one point, I remember.
Did they? Yeah, they were. Okay, yeah, they did put them on. That's right. That's right.
Because I remember being like, Jesus.
That's right. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Because they put on gloves, they come in, and basically, like, I feel like there's some sort of robots or like brainwashed people. But they could tell that I was in the room because they touched the bed. And I don't know if that's because they have a direct access to like cameras or like some sort of weird pheromones or like DNA technology. But like they knew I was in there, but they didn't know that where I was. They just knew I had been there, and that's why he didn't go to work.
I will say that with the actual explanation from Dax to Lupita, Lupita would know that the technique that was utilized is called way tracing. People leave kind of a semblance of themselves in any space that they enter into, and way users can track that. So, from what you can understand, these strange individuals appear to be way users, but based on the description of them, they do not match any sect of way users, organized sect of way users that you're aware of.
So they're kind of like just way users employed by
They're like
the
government
industry or
They're
whatever.
government way users,
Mm,
but
yeah.
like not a government funded cult. Like they're
Right.
actually
Okay. Yeah.
Petrobras
Yeah.
sponsored way users.
They're just
Like
cops.
Men in Black.
Users.
Like Men in Black, right?
They were wearing black, yeah.
No, I mean Men in.
No,
No.
I'm good with it.
Oh.
I'm with you.
Oh.
Kind of similar, yeah.
So like, yeah. Okay. The kind of like secret police, but Jedi.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Well, Lupita is down to blast her way in with the rest of you, or to infiltrate once Zelry is in. I mean, that depends on how foolish or brave Zelry is feeling today.
I'm up for it.
I would
Which
say
one? Oh,
foolish.
for
Oh.
for infiltrating.
I thought we talked about maybe taking Orin with me or Orin's Orin, I forgot here.
So
Ula.
Ula.
So
Mm.
it would be Ula and or it. I mean, Ula would probably be the preferred method. That way, you don't have to actually detach Orin from. We discussed quite a bit about Urbots and like how they operate, kind of giving Zach a bit more freedom with where the way user kind of has like a I'm mystical and like
Mhm,
ooh I can do mystical
mhm.
shit. We want to make sure that everybody understands that they have the same like situation with their specific priorities. And the robot is very much an R2D2 esque type thing. Like it pulls out a little thing out of nowhere, plugs it into the
Bloop,
thing,
bleep, bloop, bleep.
spins it around,
Bleep,
beeps
bloop,
and
bleep, bloop.
boops, and ta-da! Like I can talk to computers.
Mhm.
So I'm down for that. And what I would say, what I would say is what I would say is that sorry, side message that's really stupid. You're doing great, buddy. But what I would say is that it would be very easy for you to conceal a core, which is basically what an bot is. It's a core that's been installed into a robot, and some robots are built for function. Other robots who are more kind of grandiose, like Orin, are actually robots that are built for the core. So the robots that we believe are inside there, based on kind of Lupita's detection, are cores, but hegemonic robots. So they're not like they're probably built for some function or another. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm up for. I'll go in with I'll go work a day in there and take a look.
Yeah, just keep your head down. Do what you think you need to do, and
I can press buttons.
there you go.
Maybe if there's like a fire drill button, pull the lever and we can run in during the chaos or something like that.
Now,
Should
from my understanding, Zelry, you actually came from more core worlds and were like almost hegemony kind of adjacent, right?
yeah, I would probably say so.
Okay. So then there's going to be a lot there that you'll be able to identify when it comes to processes, if they are using kind of standard function. And based on the fact that it's the hegemonic news network, it's highly likely that they will be. So, yeah, as we discussed last time, you are the best person for the job since we don't have the speaker. Not saying that you wouldn't be the best person for the job, even if we did have the speaker, based on his desire to continue using his damn ID badge to get him in and out of stuff, which could have been problematic in this phase. But yeah, okay, so we want to work a day. This will, like I said last time, if that's the case, that will start our process. We will technically be going into the job. So we are determining the job's type. It could be infiltration, but even with this infiltration start, it could be assault still. It also has room to be a couple of other ones that I am not looking at the moment because my Adobe Acrobat
Zach?
is...
Zach stepped away. Zach, are you okay? Me taking Ula with me into.
Oh yeah, 100%. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're fine. I just want to make sure before we start talking about it that.
I appreciate you asking for consent.
Okay, so we are looking at planning engagement, page 148 of the book. So our options are assault, deception, infiltration, mystic, social, and transport. So we're not trying to carry cargo or people through danger. So that's probably out. We're not trying to negotiate, bargain, or persuade anything here. We're not engaging the way a mystic or a herb power directly. Infiltration, if we don't want to be caught, and that's kind of the goal, we want to do this without like any semblance of being kind of caught out in our efforts, then that'd be the one. But if we're okay with going loud, that's probably not the one for us. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Deception could potentially be it. We are wanting to kind of do something with the broadcast system, but this one's very hard to define. It would be something you folks would need to think about and kind of come to a detailed position on how you want to kind of verbalize that, if that makes sense. And then obviously assault, do violence, go in there, shoot the shit out of everything, blow up the whole place, which is the rebel way. So which one do we think we're gonna go with?
Well, here's my thought. I'm
Go.
thinking that we could go with assault,
Mhm.
and then maybe you give us a an advantage bonus, because with the uh the scouting ahead
So no, that's
of
wonderful.
Zelri.
What will happen is like I said, Zelri entering into the scene starts the job, right?
Okay.
So the engagement roll will happen before any benefit from Zelri comes up. So it's already got the penalty because of Dax's shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say though is in a very similar fashion to our very first mission, where the speaker changed your status in the mission from risky to controlled by performing an action that like greatly changed the dynamic of the mission. If
Mm-hmm.
Zelri locates some piece of information, some detail, or is able to do something while inside, I'm not going to give you any hypotheticals here because that might get the brains brewing, and that's not what I want. I want you to come up with the plan. Then, yeah, for certain, we can shift the condition from whatever you get on the engagement to either a higher condition, or if she runs afoul of it, perhaps too much of a foul of it. Not so good a condition. So she has a potential to shift the condition track of your mission, but it'll be happening after the engagement rule has been applied. Make sense?
Yes.
Captain's on board.
Okay.
Make sense for you, Gijo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right. So assault is the brain plan, right? Sound good, Cap?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, until we figure out what's going on with
Bold, risky. Obviously, you are at the heart of the Camus Pylon, which is under hegemonic control. There are stationed here a number of hegemonic soldiers, not a shit ton. We've definitely dealt with more, but a number. We've got a couple of precincts here on site. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. So we'll get to the engagement roll. We'll discuss the detail here. We've got it. So the plan is, Zelri goes in, does what she can, blind, learning what she can, and potentially planting Ula in something to aid in the infiltration process, giving you an oracle or guy in the seat. I believe is the term, like a person behind a computer giving you kind of a view of the landscape.
The man in the chair.
Yeah, that's the term. Oracles from Batman, I think, is why I said that.
Yep.
But yeah, that's
I don't know
the
who she is.
that's the first stage of the plan. Second stage of the plan is go through the front door, either by force or by manipulation of interior, and then blow the shit out of the place from the inside. Like, just go in expecting to do violence. To more machinery than people, but if the four people who aren't on the day-to-day try and get in your way, or if somebody who's on the day-to-day tries to get in your way, then do what you got to do.
yeah, that's their problem.
They stood up for the wrong cause at the wrong time.
They made a choice.
They
You know?
made it. You could have just kept your head down.
You could have made a different choice. There's a
Yeah.
lot of other choices they could have made.
Smoking
You know?
like true
Exactly.
criminals. So that said, is there any other parts on the detail that I didn't cover in what we kind of amassed through last session and this first part of the session?
That's
No?
where we're going with it.
Well, you
So-
said that
okay.
it's not hard to unplug those machines. Would that be something like when I walk in, I can just kick those things unplugged, or I need?
You
Sure.
could, but if you do it, they will notice.
Thinking on day 2.
So yeah, if you go and do it like on day one, either in or out, they're gonna notice. It's gonna be a very quick kind of situation. So if you're knocking them out, that's literally when the hit has to happen.
Oh, okay.
Other thing
Yeah.
too is they can be pulled with the way. Like if a way user uses attune to kind of just force rip them out of the power batteries they're attached to, you can also just shoot the actual devices that are emitting the lasers. Lots of options. I'm pretty sure most of the actions on the board will fuck those things up. Except for talking to them. I don't think you could.
You sure?
I mean,
We could
Just
try it.
polite.
We
you know
could
what,
try it.
Captain? You know what? For you, yeah, you can talk a laser down. You could. Okay. So with that said, and that being the plan, before the engagement roll, item loadouts. Get yourself ready, and also strategize who's going to be in what detachment, what team, and what where. Obviously, we have one person who has kind of a problematic element when it comes to entering the space. However, I will state that since that dice is on the engagement roll, that's accounting for you coming off the elevator and walking up to the space. So just keep that in mind. So don't think that you're out of the mission. Just understand that the fact that you already kind of are on the docket for being seen has already been accounted for the narrative, so to speak.
Just gotta be a little more careful.
Well, you don't even have to. You can literally just walk in there, do it as you're going to do it, if that's your plan. That minus dice on the engagement roll represents what the repercussion for that is. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so it's loadout time, folks, and those who are watching, they're basically going through, adding on their stuff. For those of you who've been watching for a while, you know the drill. They're just going and figuring out what they're going to have. Keep in mind, too, you have the very cool, awesome, super sweet relics that we got from the Dargor ship. Don't forget those. There's obviously one of each, and I think the Protector is playing a huge part in your plan here. Is anybody calling the armor?
I figured the Airbot would be wearing it.
You put the Urbot in it?
I thought that's what it was for.
No.
Oh, okay.
So the armor.
It's just armor. It's not bot armor.
Yeah. So the armor. Think of it like Sith armor, right? So it's extremely light and functional, self-repairing armor. So normally, if an armor takes a bunch of damage, you kind of just are effectively needing to buy new or kind of deal with it.
Gotcha.
The main difference between it and regular armor is it does not take an armor slot, or it doesn't take a loadout slot. It counts for free, but you can't wear it if you're wearing a spacesuit, which is not a problem here.
So someone should definitely wear it.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
As an bot with the pilot's fine customizable suit, could I customize the suit with the armor?
Pilot's fine customizable suit isn't a spacesuit, is it?
Yeah, it is a spacesuit.
I think it's not like the spacesuit. It's like a separate entry.
It's a fine customized spacesuit is specific to the pilot. That's different from like regular suits.
Yeah, it cannot be one with a standard spacesuit.
Okay.
So like the hegemonic ones that you stole and like the ones that you normally have, those are standard spacesuits. They can't be worn with the armor. And the main reason that is because if you wear it underneath, it's ripping out. If you wear it over top, it's not fitting because the spacesuit is a bit bulky. Now with your slim suit, you're just going to put the armor on top of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take a loadout slot, right?
Right.
So the 2 loadout slots I'm taking for the spacesuit gives me extra armor. If everyone's okay with me taking the armor, I don't want to just like
someone should
yoink
take
it off of the floor, but
someone literally should take it. As long as it's used.
Now, obviously, Zelry wearing it would be a problem. I am here to report for what the fuck? It's Darth Vader. Herpoo. I am Darth Vader. The Herpoo was me doing the breathing. Never mind. Forget it. Okay.
Yeah, that was...
Try to do a comical bit, and you just ruin it. You just ruin it. Herpoo. Ew. Gross. I'm done talking. How are your loadouts coming along? I'm not done
Look up
talking.
what Spy
I have
Gear
a game
is.
to run. What's that?
So I'm looking up what spy gear is.
Sure.
I'm
Disguises, voice
definitely.
modulators, mirror cameras, thermal scan. Ooh,
Oh, and
could I?
Oh.
go ahead. I was gonna say
Could I-
for you, Gijo, real quick. Sorry to cut you off, John. There is a light blade that was among Dargor's stuff. It wasn't special. It's just a light blade, but it is a part of your crew allotment. Okay, now John, go ahead.
Okay, can I take the loadout for spy gear and then use some spy gear, give some spyware to Zelry? Or would that be their loadout?
I'm checking. Spy gear is disguises, voice modulators, mini cameras, thermal scanners, false thumbprints, and audio filters. I would say that if you're using it for you, or if you're using it in a way that allows you to do it when Zelry needs it, like disguising Zelry,
Okay.
great. Applying a voice modulator to Zelry,
I was thinking more of the cameras.
that would be a loadout section. Many cameras,
Okay.
loadout section.
So
Thermal
they would
scanner?
probably be detected when she scanned.
They do scan you.
Oh, that's true. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Good.
Man, so I can't take nothing.
That's about right.
Except
I'm gonna
for
take a
the-
blaster that I'm gonna hand off to Zelry.
We discussed why the Urbot or the Ur core would be fine. Do we remember why that's the case?
Because they have them already working in there.
No.
No.
No,
what does the scanner
they're
detect
made out
for?
of.
It detects for metals. The Urbots are made out of
Oh.
a metal that's not detectable or traceable.
Nice.
It's Ur metal.
Oh, are my rocks? You know those rocks I like to carry in my pocket to put in people's mouth? Are they metal?
Are they
Will
made
that
out
be-
of Ur metal?
I forgot. Some
They're
herb.
Rocks.
made out of
If they're Ur
There's, like,
shenanigans,
something
they're
else.
Ur.
night.
They are herb shenanigans.
Then
Night
they're Ur.
beast. goo.
Yeah, it was like the night beast.
We're back
one.
real quick.
They won't
Yeah,
detect.
they're not metal.
They won't detect.
Oh, good. Now, gotta have my rocks in my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, geologist. Woo!
Gotta have your stones.
He's as a
What is happening?
about to get stoned,
Wow.
baby. Woo!
Now, there is a suggestion
Oh.
coming from the
No.
chat. I just want to make sure you folks don't take it into consideration, and I'll explain for why. It would be a good idea, but the problem is the robot, the core, does not block metal. It just is not metal. So if you put a gun
Yeah.
in it that is metal, that will be detected because it is metal. So yeah,
Damn.
it's not a buffer
Yeah,
system.
it's not like a lead case.
Yeah, it doesn't.
What
detect.
about a wooden ship?
Now, if you have a wooden ship, that would work. Now, if it is a folding boat, you could potentially have a galleon in there.
What about a wooden shiv?
Oh, that's also good. You could have a wooden shiv. You could have an ivory shiv.
Okay,
could have...
you know what?
What is
In this
happening
fucking
now?
in this
It's become jailhouse rules all this stuff.
We're
but in
rebels.
this setting, I mean, in a way, isn't this type of labor prison anyway?
They just sent a
down.
dude to
Please.
go harvest lipped eggs because he had a good time.
One, and then two, does wood even exist anymore in this future?
Yeah,
Um,
all over.
Oh,
So think of
All
Dune.
over.
Think of Dune. On one planet, like something's very common and something is very
it's a
not.
sand
So,
planet.
Yeah, there's sand planet, there's water planet, and like the water planet people are like sand everywhere, no water, and then the water or the sand people are like there's seas. So like there's people who are native to like their world who don't understand the concept of what's on others, but you are a group
To
of
a planet where everything is just like paneled and woody pine and
Yeah.
like knotty pine.
Yeah.
And like when you
Yeah.
say paneled, like you mean like old like 70s style wood panel?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
like
hell
that's
yeah.
their planet.
That's the
Rockland.
world for me.
Yeah,
Shag
this
carpeting instead of grass. I love it. I love this place that we've invented.
Shag carpeting on the
Okay,
planet?
so I'm gonna. So
Yes.
I don't know that
Captain.
Lupita would do this, but in this, for some reason, she's doing it. Something has gotten into her, and she has carved, like shaven down like a chopstick or something,
Sure.
and like given it to Zelry to sneak in as
Okay.
like a defense.
That works? You taking it, Zelry, or are you good without it?
I don't think I'll need it. I really don't. I think everything will be fine.
Okay.
Fast forward to the scene where Zelry definitely needed the sharp object.
I know.
Guess what? We can always flashback.
We could flashback to this.
Wait,
exact
Flashback
moment.
to this moment where Zelry says, "I don't need it,"
I
and
love
actually
And then
pockets
Kita
it.
just
I
puts
need
it
it.
in her pocket.
I
so
need it.
much.
No, Zelry says I don't need it. Then she turns around, and then Lupita slips it into her back pocket.
Yeah, that's the
what I
flashback.
was thinking.
But we're gonna respect her decision for now.
Okay.
But
Respect
we
her
will fuck
decision.
with it on a flashback.
It's a consent thing.
Yeah, and when she wants
Yeah.
it, she will have it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we were also asked, what about a wooden horse?
Wooden horse.
I'm sorry.
Let me just whip one of those up real quick.
I love
Liz
that.
introducing chaos from the peanut gallery.
Yeah, and I have
I
to
appreciate
I
it.
love it.
I read it like a minute or two ago, and I was like, okay. And then I was like imagining it, and it was like
Wait a
the
minute.
scene. It was the scene from Holy Grail,
Yeah.
but instead of like throwing it back out, they were throwing it out into space like Among Us.
Oh my.
Oh,
Sus.
Oh wait, why
What?
didn't we vent? We could just vent in there.
There is no.
no.
We're not in space.
We're
We're on a
crewmate.
planet.
Yeah, crewmates anyway.
Yeah.
There's no
they have-
vents.
They have so many crewmates.
Oh.
There's
Um,
no vents.
Well, there are vents. You just have to go through the church.
Actually, Zelry would be an imposter at this
Okay.
moment. Actually, she can vent.
So,
already
Um,
a imposter.
everybody, loadouts. How we doing?
All right.
I'm good.
So
Mhm.
I'll bring a blaster pistol, a detonator because we like to blow shit up, and
Yeah.
my spacesuit. And then
Did-
I have like a bunch of italic stuff. So I have a small drone, a pet of some sort, and drugs.
Did
Is
we decide
the-
who took the shield?
That is
Mm,
a
yeah,
very
so-
large part of your plan.
Yeah, someone who's
That
not
is-
in there.
I guess I'm
Probably
taking the.
not.
Am I taking the shield?
Mm,
I think maybe.
Well, based on your loadout so far, it sounds like that's not unreasonable.
How many
Just say
pips?
Terosh maybe.
How many pips
Yeah,
is the
I
light
can-
blade?
1.
How many pips is the shield?
1.
Okay.
Oh, one.
Oh,
So
do I
I'm at
need-
1, 2.
Should I put Ula as part of my loadout?
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
Strangely enough.
So I'm at 5 right now.
So the best way I can describe Ula is that Ula is, for all intents and purposes, as far as mechanic goes, Ula is Orin. Orin is Ula. So everything that one or the other knows, they know. It's I don't know what the sequencing is called when it's like it's like some kind of sciencey term that deals with like particles. Like that
Quantum
Quantum
entanglement.
quantum
entanglement.
entangled. They're quantum entangled.
Ooh.
So they kind of have like the same kind of knowledge base. The thing is that they are different personas. So it's basically like the knowledge base or the truer that is present there is being filtered through two separate prisms, two separate cores. Is the way I imagine it works in the sci-fi mentality. And so Zach will be role-playing Ula, which we haven't got to see yet, and then also Orin on the backside with the full armor, presumably some form of firearm, and a shield, doing cool stuff on that side as well.
Looking like full ass SWAT.
Now the thing is because Ula is just a core, Ula has no loadout slots. So Ula does not carry shit, but Ula is also not.
Ula is a loadout slot.
No, Ula does not take
Yeah,
up
on my sheet, find small Urbot is literally a loadout slot.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
then-
it doesn't count as a load. It's just a slot that, like, you know
Oh.
what I mean. It's italicized.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Doesn't count as a load, but,
But
it is a
technically
slot
something that you
like
think,
that I
okay.
can or cannot bring with us on mission.
Got it.
You know what I mean? I can leave her on the ship or
Take your
bring
way.
her with us. Like, she's
Which-
checked off this time.
We're technically doing.
So, question.
Shoot.
On my sheet it says I have a free slot for a genius pet.
Genius pet.
Can
Okay.
can I do a flashback and say that I just showed up with like some random like frickin' space monkey or something
Yeah,
when I
that's
came back?
perfectly fine. So, according to what it states for the mechanic items, a genius pet is incapable of speaking, but can understand language and assist with basic tasks. It likes you.
Okay.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
It anticipates your actions. Is it something familiar? You said like a monkey, right? Where-
Just something.
where'd
like,
we get it?
I'm okay with it. So
On holiday.
Well, did we get it back
Yeah, when I
on? Did we get it back on the image planet? Did we get it?
no,
Here?
it was while I was gone.
So you came here.
So it was,
This-
yeah.
so it was
So it
from
would
this
have been
planet.
like here.
I'm gonna say that it is. You want it to be mammalian or is reptilian cool?
I really don't care.
Okay, so then what I'm thinking is it's kind of like a saurian kind of creature. So like a pterodactyl, but like
Yeah.
imagine like if you had a pterodactyl and a flying squirrel and they were one creature.
Okay.
That's what it
Okay.
is. But it kind of has like it has thumbs. It has
Okay.
it has thumbs. So it's maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet long. It can go on the shoulder.
Okay. Yes.
And like climb very well, and then when it gets to high points it'll kind of jump and soar in wherever it goes.
Hell yeah.
What's its name?
It's the. Oh shit! Is this how you feel every time we ask that? Okay.
You know who's really good at naming animals?
Who?
Johnny, probably.
Johnny. What's his
Ezekiel.
name?
Ezekiel's the name
Ezekiel.
of the pet,
Michael
Yeah.
10.
also
Yeah.
known as Zeke for short.
Yep, Zeke.
There we go.
And
Zeke.
who did you get it from? Was it a legal or illegal purchase?
It was probably illegal.
I love that.
There's
Okay.
no way buying that
Well-
thing was legal.
So what I'm gonna say is,
Says
what are our
about it.
current connections?
Mine?
The group as a whole.
Oh.
We currently have a connection with an assassins group. I just remember that it was it the Ashen Knives?
Please
Yeah.
tell me this thing is trained to put poison in people's food.
So, if I remember correctly, you left because you were having conversations with like Imish and other people, and you were like, "Okay, party time," and you fucking left, right? Because you were thinking about
Yeah.
engineering stuff. You ended
Yeah.
up on God, what is the name of the planet we're on? Why did my brain just do it?
Kojito? Kogito?
No, we're
Cogito.
Parias. Cogito is the
Oh,
planet.
Parias.
And when you arrived here, you didn't settle in with the Donny Rainbow and the people here. In fact, you weren't even on this pylon to start with. You were on a different pylon whose name doesn't really matter, but they have more of an Ashen Knife collective. And you were there for the gambling houses, the drug dens, the booze halls, and you were basically allowed into these spaces because of the Ashen Knives. They are a syndicate that's focused on drugs and such, and also pleasures of the flesh. So you kind of were there and having a great time, and you won a gambling
Yeah.
game that
Gotta
presented
gamble.
you with a problem. The person who lost was very, very angry about it, but you very quick-mindedly used the room around him to basically cause the automatic chair he was sitting in to fold and crunch him in half. But the whole time you were gambling with him, you were basically like petting his pet, which would be Zeke.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
know its name, never got it, or you did and you were too drunk and or high to care what they called it.
Yep.
Took the pet and took the money and left, and the Ashen Knives were kind of like, get off the pylon. This is a problem. We don't want to cause you any problems because we still have agreements with you and your crew. You need to get out of here. And you're like, what's the best pylon? They say, go to the Comet pylon, head to the Donny Rainbow. You should be able to find friends there. And sure enough, you found your friends.
Hey, I know you guys.
So that's
That sounds right.
that's the flashback for that. So we have Zeke, and so yeah, Zeke's easy peasy. He can do simple stuff, and similar to Ula, you can like if you split up or if you want him to be with a group, you can kind of like Zeke go with Tarash, or Zeke go with Lupita, or whoever, and just pass him on over.
Amazing.
Very cool. Okay, so any other loadout situations? All solid?
If
Go ahead, John.
I'm not trained to do medical stuff, can I carry a med kit? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, if it's an
Okay,
option
that's
for
what I
you,
thought.
then you can take it. And then Johnny, you had something?
Yeah, do I still need to wear the gas mask for now?
No.
Wait, like this far out. Okay.
When you're on the surface is when you need to wear the gas.
Okay.
mask.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. You know,
Have you been
I'm gonna
wearing
take
it
a
this whole
flamethrower.
time?
a fine flamethrower and the detonator launcher.
Okay. Well, that's a big explosions and explosions.
Yes. Oh, I won't have enough of the herb protector though. We-
I have a detonator if you don't want to use that slot.
Wait, was someone else using the herb protector or no?
I don't think. I think Orin. It had been mentioned that Orin would be willing, but I don't think anybody confirmed for certain.
Wait, is Orin going to be in the leaving the ship? No, right?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Orin is wearing armor and a close knit spacesuit, so they will have he will have very strong kind of defensive capability.
Is the herb protector the same thing as the shield?
The Ur Protector is different than
Excuse
a shield.
Oh. Okay. I don't know what the herb protector is then.
So the Ur Protector is in our notifications. It's the most recent item. Its effect says it projects an energy shield that protects the user and up to one other person from blaster fire. Due to the way that I ruled it, if there is a narrow corridor, everyone behind that person would also be protected. So it stops blaster fire. The blasters in front of you are blasters, so you literally just walk in with the shield up, and it's going to be like bouncing off of your shield. That was the strat, I believe.
Yeah, I just said I would grab it because I'm bad at shooting compared to others, and holding up the shield seems like an easy way for me to
Contribute.
contribute without you having to lose a hand on your blaster rifles or flamethrower. You know what I mean? Like I can hold a pistol and throw out some cover fire around the herb protector, but I can hold the herb protector and cover Karash and myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Great, I would take another detonator too. If that's the case.
Cool. Everybody loaded up.
Yep.
All right, if that's the case, let's go to engagement roll. So we have a penalty of 1. Let's walk through the engagement roll process together. Why is this not going to the page? 150. Okay, so is this operation particularly bold or daring? Hell yes. +1 dice. Does the plan's detail expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? No. Is the target strongest against this approach? Or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? Yes. -1 dice. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? They have. I will be applying a +1 dice for the knowledge that we have regarding the shift changes, regarding the presence inside, regarding the system, and regarding what Chemical Steven has told you about the broadcast and how it would be disabled. So once you get to it, again, you don't have like an exact understanding of how the computer will work or what it will look like, but you know that once you get to it, how the broadcast needs to be shut off so that it doesn't immediately alert all hegemonic systems in the area. So +1 dice there. Are there any other elements that you want to consider? I'm not looking at anything in particular. We've already got the -1 dice that we put in for the Daxnanigans. Is there anything anybody can think of that they want to try and put forward here? If not, I have a very interesting proposal if you have nothing.
Got none.
Nothing.
I don't really have anything.
So it's not really something that's written in the rules, but I, more often than not, do not care and will try and use mechanics in interesting and new ways. I am interested in giving you a devil's bargain on an engagement roll. And so, what that bargain will entail, off the bat, +1 dice to your engagement roll, but you will confirm 100% no matter what at the end of this mission be identified. Your wanted level will go up. Period. That is the... And again, with the bold and daring you already have, there's already a pretty good chance you're going to get spotted out. But what I'm saying to you is if you take this devil's bargain, I will be adding 1 level of wanted in addition to whatever heat you get.
I like it.
I'm for.
I'm okay
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
It's kind of like our thing.
Our notoriety.
Like we actually should leave a calling card too.
Okay. So,
Be like, sorry, not
There's a shit.
sorry,
There it is.
XOXO heart.
Sorry, not sorry.
refactoring.
Spray painted
Just
on
a
the
skill
floor.
issue.
+1 for bold and daring is cut out by the vulnerability situation. You're attacking a hard point. Friends and contacts +1 dice. Penalty from Dax, those two exchange each other out. No dice. So there's currently a flat level, then Devil's Bargain +1 dice. You're rolling at +1 dice for your engagement roll. Who wants to roll the fortune roll?
Who hasn't
Not
rolled
it.
it yet?
It's a good question. Who hasn't rolled it yet?
I haven't rolled anything yet.
Then it's going to
I
be you.
actually was
Well,
going to
you.
suggest you because you're the one going in also. If
So I
everybody already
just
rolled.
have to click roll fortune and just 1.
Mm-hmm.
It says notes. I just ignore that.
I believe so, yeah. Now,
3.
okay, hold on. Sorry. So you should have 1 dice raw for just sheer fortune. So it should actually have 1 more dice. So, sorry. I thought it was +1. You were asking if it's +1 dice. So roll, just click the fortune again and do exactly what you just did.
Okay.
And then we'll just take the higher of the 2 metrics here.
Uh,
So 3. Okay.
Nope.
So
Uh-oh.
1 through 3 is a bad result, which means that you're going to be starting in a desperate position when the action starts.
Yeah, we are.
I know
Hell
that
yeah.
the typical D&D mentality is like, okay, well then pull out, just forget it, we're out.
No, we're
We're
This
going.
shit, dude.
We're going.
But let me
We're all in.
explain the scene as it goes. Everybody's like, okay, great, and Zillari's like, all right. And then the scene cuts from her like in the spaceship, like preparing for the mission, to in the scanner. It's scanning, and then the laser grid drops, the guns drop, and she's allowed to step in. The other people who are going in with you at the same time, because you're expected to arrive at a set time for your shift, and you should have a token here. I don't know if you can grab it or not. Can you? Is it?
That's not my token.
You got it?
Yeah.
So you can move forward and through the grid if you want. As you step through, everybody seems to be splitting off into different directions. Seems like some are going to the left, some are going to the right. You can ask whatever questions you want about that situation that you think could be answered in a very quick kind of scan of it, but which direction would you like to go? But before you answer that question, you can answer or ask any questions you'd like.
Okay, because you said the group goes into left and right.
There are groups going to left and to the right.
Are there more going in one direction than the other?
Great question. There are a total of 6 going to the right and a total of 5 going to the left.
All right, I want to go to the left.
All right, good deal. So when you get to this position, and I'll go ahead and come out, you can see that the other people are across the way. Now, once we're here, hold on. I'm going to, because it doesn't seem like we're getting vision from you. Hold on. Bear with me here. Okay, so everybody should be able to see from her token. Just so we aren't losing anybody in the sauce here. There's a massive door, and it is a blast door. Now, again, the definition of blast door is kind of nebulous. It kind of transfers from different sci-fi to different sci-fi. So I want to be very precise in my language here. A blast door in setting for us is a door that is compounded. It is a series of doors that are shut in sequence. The reason why that is the case is one door is left normal. Multiple doors are shut and closed to secure it. The door, as you can see it, is currently in an unsecured position. So it is just a single door with what appears to be a triple or quadruple network of doors, which means 4 or 3 on each side of the center door that will close around it. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's currently in an unsecured position, so it could be entered and exited normally. All the other people that were heading to the right go that way, and all the people who are going to the left go this way and immediately turn right. Looking down this hallway, you can see that there are a number of doors that appear to be plugged in to the same networking cable that was attached to the power core in the first room and appears to be attached to the wall to the center room. What's going on in those rooms, you can't be certain, but looking at them as a doctor, you realize they look very similar to a hospital's doors. They have placards next to them with data pads in them, which appear to be chart pads. Which, again, what's that doing in a news network space is confusing, to say the least. 2 people enter this door. Hold on. This door. And as you kind of move past it or stop to enter into it, you'll see that it is a break room. Looks like one of them moves over to the refrigerator, opens it, puts in a capsule that appears to be like the variant of Tupperware, like sci-fi Tupperware that we have in this world, and also a thermos into the fridge, while the other one seems to be moving towards the microwave and doing something with that, or the whatever the device name that makes food hot quick in this world is called. The next 2 move to this door here.
Somatic 3000.
And it opens. Do you wish to be near them when it opens? Like trying to keep pace with them so you can see in as they enter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It opens, and inside you see 2 seats and a networking of computers. These computers look like they are broadcast terminals. And based on the description you got from Chemical Steven, this is either one of or the only spot that would be it. This is the thing, right? This is where things are going out. But immediately after they enter, that bad boy shuts. You continue on down the hallway because the last one guy seems to be walking with you and says, "Oh, are you the new replacement for, I don't remember the guy's name."
Yeah. Yeah, they sent me up here.
You from here or are you from off-world?
I'm from off-world.
Oh, that's great. Well, glad to get a little bit of chatting in. We won't get a lot of chatting in for the next 4 or so hours. A lot of work to be done. He swipes his badge, opens the door, and inside you see there are 2 what appear to be bed-like structures. They're almost like medical beds. On the medical beds is a face mask-like device that kind of has like a helmet apparatus with wires attached to it, and this is attached to a massive core structure. You are well aware of what this is. This is an emotional sequencing broadcaster. Subliminal messages are pushed through propaganda. Loyal hegemonic personnel, strangely someone who was willing to depart their job for reasons, was a member of this staff, are forced to watch the propaganda for the day, and your emotional responses to it are what are pushed through the broadcast waves to those who watch it. So that these are the emotions that should be indentured upon the people who are watching it. He moves to his table, looks at you and says, do you need any help getting strapped in?
No. No, I'm good.
First breaks in 4. You can go first since you're new. He smiles. And
Hey.
He gets into this weird looking bed device and plugs himself, like saddles himself to it, straps himself in, and then puts the helmet on. You see his eyes kind of like lull back into his head, and he's watching the TV screens, which are playing 4 different broadcasts, but they appear to be similar to the broadcast you kind of spotted in your eye, the corner of your eye as you walk past that one door. And you will be entering into the thing. Is there anything that you want to do upon entering it? Like anything you would want to think to do to kind of maybe... I don't know. There's a lot going on here. Obviously, there's going to be some strangeness here as you're now becoming a font for the emotional subliminal messages that are part of the broadcast. So how would you like to proceed?
This is so
Weird.
okay. Before, I kind of want to look around the headpiece where those 4 red wires are plugged in.
Yeah.
Is like that secure into it? Like
Sound. Yeah.
okay. All right, that's sound.
You would
All
see
right,
that
go.
inside of the helmet, the devices that will kind of pattern to you are very similar to kind of pattern receptors or kind of scan devices that are utilized in medicine. So, when like a guy's running and he's got like those little pads on him, like, and they're like checking like the heart rate, checking all that shit. I don't know what they're called. I'm not in medicine.
Electrodes?
Yeah, like electrodes, right?
Yeah,
But they're like
EKGs.
sci-fi versions of those. So they have those inside of the helmet. And basically, when you put the helmet on, they'll be kind of placing those on specific spots, and you can see that they'll actuate to you. So they'll kind of set and lock to you. But as a doctor, there may be ways to kind of interfere with that or kind of like alter them.
Part of me was thinking I should put one of those rocks in my mouth and get in here, and maybe it'll keep me level-headed. But then that's 4 hours with a rock in my mouth.
That's not impossible.
It might be bad side effects.
I don't think it would.
No,
Probably not.
because we discussed that
It
the
didn't heal
rocks
back up.
will, yeah. That way, watching this propaganda won't influence me.
If that's the way you want to go, that's not a bad choice.
It's kind of what I want to do.
Okay. So it is boring as hell. There does seem to be one of the stations that kind of catches your attention more than the others. But you feel like there's something that's kind of resting in your head that is catching everything. And so you feel like there's no problem here. There's something about the way that the rock might be influencing you, or something about the way that your personal kind of makeup or training seems to be affecting you and your state of mind. It is very easy for you to kind of just lock in on the topic at hand and just kind of do it. The 4 hours come up, you hear kind of a bit, and the helmet kind of unactuates. It kind of pulls its diodes off you, and you very easily kind of pull it off. He does not pull his helmet off. He seems to be kind of locked in still. What would you like to do once you get to your break? Obviously, you're a little stiff, but the bed is very comfortable. Despite that, like it's every effort and attempt to make sure you're at the most comfortable, leisurely kind of TV watching posture.
Okay. I want to walk around, have a once around this place, and see if I can find any herbots to input Ula.
So great. You would see that this device here, which appears to be the computer processor, what you would think would be the computer processor for your emotional receptor units, the big red devices behind your beds, it appears to have an core inside of it, but it also appears to have 2 other slots for cores that are not filled.
No, I want to look for like an robot, like orange.
Like a robot. Okay.
This will be my last case if I can't find anything, you know?
Sure.
It'll be my last ditch effort.
So you pop outside, and kind of shuffling out there, kind of looking around, you can see that this hallway seems to go around to the other side of the blast door, based on what you can tell from just the way this wall lays. If you look out that way, it appears to be kind of a weird lounge space, filled with TVs, which are all broadcasting the same channels you've seen, but also different channels that you did not recognize, but do recognize from more in-world. They appear to be receiving core world like stations here. And at current, there is just one person in this lounge. They are seated here, so they don't see you. And they appear to be smoking a cigarette, and just kind of idly, I'm sorry, not this chair, idly kind of messing with this computer. Do you wish to approach them or just kind of leave them to it?
No, I'm going to leave them to it. I'm just going to continue
Okay.
walking by.
Oh, you would also, sorry, before you get too far away, when you were here, you would also have noticed that this room here, this strange little supply chamber, there was what sounded like some movement going on in there as well, but you didn't see anybody or anything.
I'm sorry, the room that was to the left that I passed?
Yeah, this room here.
Yeah.
Do you want to check it out before you move across the way?
Oh, yeah. If you
Okay.
said that, always.
Sorry, I wanted, because you kind of looked like you were pointed. So if you go in here, it looks like this is some sort of storage space. This appears to be some sort of cooler. And inside, it looks like it has batteries. This space here looks like just rubbish. Dax might know what it is, but it's definitely not on your radar. And then you hear footfall, which sounds a bit more kind of structured. And out walks a hegemonic engineer robot. So an engineer robot has a very strange look to it. It kind of has a flat, like tall head with like a single iris port kind of in the center. A humanoid skeletal-like structure, but where the forearms are located, it has a, like, right about the wrist, it has a mount that allows it to spin its forearm and switch its hands to either a hand with grip, a claw, like wrench-like claw, or what appears to be kind of like a lifting device, like kind of almost like a cool clamp. You would see that this robot that's kind of walking out, the skeletal structure in the center kind of harbors around 2 metal bowls, which inside is floating a core.
How hard would it be to swap its core with?
Have you ever taken a 3x5 floppy out of a computer and put in another one?
All right.
It's that, but rounder.
Is this thing looking at me? Is it like...
So its eye seems to be intently focused on this thing as it comes out of this back room, and it walks over to this device.
Now, when you say like the core, can I see the core from all sides? Or is it like just the front or just the back?
Yeah, you can, but there's kind of like a kind of a grid-like it's like looking into a rib cage, I guess would be the best way to describe it. There's like an access port the front and the back, but there's like kind of like a rib sections of structure that kind of go up the sides. Does that make sense?
Are there any other?
Yeah, you
If I
do,
step closer, are there any other those spots
do a
in
quick
here?
look around. It's just that one. And as you're kind of, perusing, kind of scanning the area, you see it kind of place its mechanical, like humanoid as cans into position and open the device in front of it. Then it switches its hands to the crab-like wrench things, reaches inside. You hear kind of like a grappling, grasping, metal grinding noise. I'm trying to say a lot of words at the same time, and that's not how you do words. It picks up what appears to be a cylindrical core with a kind of weird bluish fluid in it, and starts to turn around and move back into the room it was in to start.
Can I, like, how long does it take it to do its thing? Because I think while its hands are busy, can I, like, go behind it and pull out its core and switch it with Ula's real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So for this, since you're wanting to do it without being spotted, that's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah, while it has its while its
Okay.
attention is elsewhere, and its hands are busy, I want to walk up behind it and swap out its cores.
So we're performing an action, and the action is going to be your choice of what action we're actually using here. Skulk is one I think could be, fixed. Rig is also one. Hack also fits for me. Scrap, because it's mechanically kind of, situated, fine. You're not a way user, so probably no attuning. But yeah, if you can think of any other of the actions that you have here that you think might work in this situation.
I don't have points in any of them.
I could also suggest doctor, because you're kind of doing a quick kind of surgical removal of a quote unquote metallic organ and replacing it very quickly with.
Playing the game operation.
You're playing the game operation, you don't want to hit the sides.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to use doctor unless
I'll allow
you
it.
want me to do something. Okay. So I click on doctor.
Yep, and the situation that we're in is desperate.
Oh, okay, I like it. An effect?
The effect for this is going to be standard.
Okay. Bonus dice? No, none.
No bonus dice.
Okay.
Unless you want to push, or... Okay, it's too late.
Oop.
We're already there. So, a 3 isn't great.
Hey, what is with me in threes today?
Seems to be a recurring theme tonight.
Oh, I'm not playing the lottery. It's not going well.
There might not be a season 2, or this is going to be an anthology type TV show.
So,
At least for
Next
Celery,
generation.
not a season 2.
so great. So what we're going to get here, I think, is that you go to grab it, and you're kind of in your mind, like you're doing it like in your mind right as it's kind of like moving the weird core to the other room, and you're like getting ready for it to stop so you can do the quick plug and play. And you've got the core in your hand, you got your empty hand, and you're ready to do the swap. You're basically Indiana Jones, right, in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. You're getting ready to do the swap. And you throw your hand in just when it leans forward, and you don't grab it, but you're already doing the shove, and your eyes kind of widen, and you push the core, Ula's core, into it, which causes both of the cores to settle inside of the Urbot and to start spinning around each other. Not in like a very fast pattern, but kind of like in a neat little, like almost gyro kind of way. And that's where you come into play there, Zach. You immediately, as Ula, feel that you are in a contested space. The mainframe that you are in, the space that you have entered, is hostile to you. You immediately glean all of the information that the Urbot currently has on the task that it is performing, though, and that is a freebie just for entering into the zone. So Ula/Orin knows that the liquid core that it has is a coolant that is utilized for the processor units that are situated for emotional course corrective measures. So the devices inside of that side room are being plugged in with information from somewhere else, and that is then being processed into the red boxes where the two employees are basically being droned into watching the information and emotionally responding to it in a way that is hegemonically allowed, so that emotional response is broadcast to people who are actually paying attention to it, and they are feeling that. So you want that to be cooled, right? But while you're in there, the other core immediately realizes it's not alone. And you, as Ula, realize that you're not alone. What action do you want to take to get that other core either out or inert?
Is the other core sentient? Has its sentience been unlocked?
So it is sentient, but not fully. So basically, it's programmed sentience. So when it is allowed...
Yep, it's still running its most recent programming code. It hasn't unlocked its potential yet.
Yep.
Cool.
Got a lot of options here for actions. Command, you could tell it what to do, and basically instead of kicking it out, just become friends with it. You could hack it. You could scrap it. Just beat the shit out of it. Whatever action you can think of. And however you
Is there anything as Ula, now that my core is inserted, that I can do to rig the other core to like disconnect it using rig action to try and disconnect the other core's control at least?
So what you're going to do with that, you're going to make a rig roll, and also determine if you want to add any pushes or gambles or anything, or gambits or anything before you roll it. But what you're effectively doing is there's no physical connection, right? You're kind of just floating in like this electromagnetic space, and you're connecting to it through that.
Right.
So what you're effectively doing is you're trying to unplug its electromagnetic connection, which will cause it to fall, and then you're going to usurp it fully. You're both connected, but you can finish the job by rigging it. So, pushing?
Yeah.
And, folks, we have how many gambits?
I thought we didn't have any. Or did we have one?
At least two.
I think we have one.
I think we have
Or
one.
Do we start with one?
Well, we don't start with any because last mission we spent some. I believe we had one left over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend the gambit, but I am going to use my Leaf on the Wind ability to push myself and spend an extra stress so I get +1 effect and +1 die instead of one or the other.
Hell yeah. Okay, so then go ahead and click the roll. It is going to be a desperate position. And then we are looking for, since you're upping the effect, it would have gone from standard to whatever the next one after that would be.
Is that limited or great?
Great.
That's what I thought. And +1 bonus die.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
6.
So
Sweet.
you, Dr. Zelry, as you push the core and you're looking at them both spinning, and then as they spin, you see one kind of stop, and the other one spin around it and then fly out and hit the ground, and then that one kind of in there oscillates around, and then you are now in the room, Zach, so roleplay at your pleasure.
Does this engineering bot have a voice box?
It does.
Great. Then what you would probably associate as the ship's voice speaks and says, "It's been a while since I've occupied something so small."
I thought you would appreciate this bot. He has extra set of hands.
I would have appreciated you vacating it before inserting me, but the notion is, I suppose, appreciated.
I apologize. It escalated quickly and didn't happen to.
Have you not been taught to eject before inserting?
Damn it! I'm a doctor.
I know all about that. So, as you kind of mentioned the hands, it would have caused Ula to kind of look down at hers, and you would realize that you have the claw-like hands holding the coolant, and you know that the coolant is very powerful, so the device needs to be kind of let go, or if you kind of hold on to it for too long, it will start to affect your appendages.
Yeah, without like saying much more, excuse me, and just starts moving to like finish it. Yeah.
Yeah. Slides it in, shuts it closed, perfect reception. Because all of the tasks that were basically available, all of the sentience that was present in that Urbot, you gleaned when you entered into that space with it.
So, do I need does Ula then know what's in the other rooms, or is this something I would need to?
No. Ula just knows what this robot knows.
And this robot was working this storage room, so I know about the coolant. I know about this like storage space, and I probably don't know anything about the occupants or like the ship itself.
There is
without
one,
like tapping into something.
There is one other task that Ula would be aware of, and that is the frozen things inside of the refrigerator, whatever those happen to be. When time comes, you have kind of like a designated time slotting in your head. You are expected to go into the chambers with the emotional registrants, is what they're called. That would be the two individuals on the bed who watch the shows and program people with their emotions, and slide one core per bed into the footing on the beds, which will cause the beds to remain at their baseline temperature of human normal. Otherwise, the beds will overheat and could potentially cause second-degree burns, and even upwards of first-degree burns if left unattended.
How long is left on that timer?
About 30 minutes.
Got about 30 minutes before my next task.
Okay. I would tell Ula what's in the other rooms that I've seen so far. I'm in the room to the right. The broadcast room is the second door on the right going forward. And the break room. Just the rooms that I've seen. The people that I've seen so far. You're the first Urbot that I've seen. I haven't seen any others. Do I know how long my break is?
Yeah, you would know. It's about 10 minutes, which means that it's about up.
Okay.
And you're pretty sure that the other guy will not be taking his break until you take yours, so that could potentially cause problems with you and your coworker if you don't get there as soon as possible.
Okay. I'm due back. I'm just in this room next door. So I have to go relieve the other guy. So I'm gonna leave Ula and go back in to relieve the other guy.
Okay, so he gets up after you get back into the bed, leaves. Does Ula just maintain on autopilot with the programming spacing that's kind of on the robot already?
No, I have 30 minutes. I'm
Okay.
going to see if I can explore a little bit more of the space that we haven't gone through yet.
Okay, so one thing you'll notice immediately upon moving towards the door is that this is not a quiet frame. It does seem to kind of create a bit of noise. However, if something is not in the immediate hallway or proximity of you, they probably won't be able to detect you. But if they are, they will.
Yeah, I guess it's not worth pushing it with the amount of noise that I'm making here. I bet it's not moving. It's not a fast frame either.
No. You also have the other core that's present. What would you like to do with that? Leave it on the floor, or do you want to do something with it?
No, I would want to pick it up and store it some way that isn't like connected to the frame. If that makes sense. Is there some way to like attach it without like hooking it up?
Yeah, so you have the switchable hands, so you could place it in like your mechanical like humanoid hand, and then flip your hand to either like the lift hand or the claw hand.
Yep. Do
that way
that.
it's kind of slotted inside of your
Arm. Yeah.
Okay. And then if you go about the processes of this drone effectively, This will lead you into, and hold on, la 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 la. Why are you not on the map? That's weird. Are you?
Me?
Who did I doubled up on? I doubled up on fucking Captain Jess. Here we go. So when you come into this space, and I don't know if that's working for you.
Yeah.
And you can move the token and everything.
Yes.
Okay. So you basically, these big old blocks here, you slot those cores in there so the beds don't overheat. Inside of this room, you would see a couple things that may not kind of make sense to the doctor. So there's this computer over here, and it has 3 slots. One of the slots is occupied with a core. The other 2 slots are emptied. This device appears to have a connection to the broadcast itself and the broadcasting like system, which means like the architecture of the machine present therein. You cannot pull yourself out of the robot.
I can, but then it's stuck. Like I get the pull out. I can't do the push in. It's
Correct.
just a.
Now, Zelry is right there, but she's kind of locked in. Apparently, from what Zelry would know and would have told you in her explanation, is once they're locked in, the attention's kind of out. But what I would like to have happen here is Zelry, are you trying to... you have the rock in your mouth. There was already kind of a placement of that. Are you trying to remain aware of the space just in case you need to move?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay. So you're locked in, but you're also trying to be cognizant. So then I'm going to have you, and this is a weird one for you, I'm going to have you choose... There's only a couple of skills that I think would work here. I'm going to have you either choose study or attune to lock yourself out of being kind of locked in. If that makes sense.
Oh, study.
Okay, roll it. And if you want to add push dice, then you'll add stress for the push.
Is it 1 stress or 2?
I believe it is 1 stress, I think.
Okay, I'll push.
Let me double check. Push.
I couldn't remember if it was 2 or not, because I have 4 already.
2
it
stress.
Might be 2. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I'll push.
Okay.
So what position?
We're still in desperate.
Okay, we're still in desperate. Effect.
Effect will be standard.
Okay. And then I get 1 bonus dice for the push, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All 3s.
A 4.
Okay.
That's
So
not high.
a 4 or 5 is a success, but with problems. Okay. So, cool. Yeah, you are aware. And that would mean that when you see the Ula drone, do you go to Zelry to get assistance?
Yeah, if I can tap her and see if she's aware.
Okay. So you're able to either disconnect or maintain your position. The cords go with you, so you can actually get out of the bed and move a little bit, but you don't think you can make it because of the bed that you chose. You don't think you can make it to the to the computer.
Yeah.
So you'll have to disconnect.
I'll disconnect. It'll
Okay.
just happen.
And then you grab the core, chuck Ula in,
Yep.
and then do you just leave the robot there and get back into bed?
Yep.
Okay. So when you pop off the emotional device, kind of bright red for a second, goes kind of more red than it is, and then when you pop back in and put it back on, everything kind of goes back to normal, and then you kind of like settle in. Ula, you enter into the system. You can detect that the Kamish pylon is broadcasting throughout the Kamish pylon, but is also broadcasting to all of the other pylons besides the royal pylon. It's receiving information from a super class. What is the type of ship? I forget what it's called. A big ass ship. That's the only ship of the hegemonic station that's present in the system. We discussed it before. They are receiving broadcasts from interior worlds, like from more interior Procyon sector, and they're broadcasting it down into Comus Pylon, which is then being broadcast to all pylons, including the royal one. There also appears to be a number of individuals that were present here for a very short amount of time, based on this information, that were resultants of a fixed test cycle. They are no longer among the persons present in the Comus Pylon and have been relocated to detention facilities on the surface. The testing facilities in the Hegemonic News Network's offices here are for the sole purpose of determining control efforts, emotional control efforts for Xenos, namely Imish, whatever fucking Johnny's species is. I forget the name of it.
Sure.
Terash is his name,
Yeah.
not his species.
Yeah.
But they've got them coming
Kieran.
through here. Yeah. And then they also have other Xenos who are relative to the system that have been put in through this office and have been put through a rigorous testing cycle to determine how they are emotionally affected by hegemonic control efforts through broadcasting. There are currently no test subjects present. The last cycle was put through here 3 days ago, which would have been before your planning. Any other information you want to seek out?
I don't think there's no way for me to control the streams from this spot here, is there?
No. So what you can do here is you can control the emotional output that is being put through Zelry and also this other guy. You can control those. And by control, I mean you can accelerate them. You can decelerate them. You can alter them. You can use saved emotional states. It looks like the emotional states that are on brand are reactionary. There's also calm. There's also riotous. There's also loyal. Other like qualifiers that are kind of listed in the options. And there also appears to be a method for you to just shut it off entirely. The emotional part. The broadcast will continue, but the emotional manipulation will stop.
Can I pick one bed or the other independently? Like, can I shut off Zelry's without affecting the other guys?
You could. What I will note, though, is as you're getting ready to kind of question that, you're looking at whether that's a possibility, you would notice that the other core who is in the computer with you has already identified that Zelry was disconnected and has sent a message, or has basically prepared a message, to send to someone known as Headmaster. Do you wish to intercept that message before it goes?
Yes.
Which action would you like to use to do that?
Can I scramble?
Yeah. And pushing?
No.
Gambit? No?
No, we're gonna go for it.
Oh,
I got a 5.
That's a success. Okay, so then yeah, you with a slight bit of problem, but yeah. So what you'll determine is that you are able to intercept that and basically stop that message from being sent. which effectively shuts down communication for you and the core. So neither of you can eject a message outwards, and basically you're just stuck in there with this other core. You can
Okay.
still perform all the other tasks. You just cannot send outbound messages. The only way you can communicate right now is through the quantum entanglement with Orin.
Oh, that seems like a problem.
Yeah, you can't tell Zellery, hey, I'm done in here, get me out.
Yep.
All right, Zellery, you've got another 3 hours, 40 minutes before your next portion of your shift ends. Do you maintain it and just stay focused, or do you want to do anything after plugging and playing?
On the plus side, the emotional manipulation is stopped. On the minus side, you don't know that because I can't tell you.
So you
Should
stop.
we?
You stop the emotional manipulation, and you stop the message about Zellery disconnecting as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead, Zellery. Sorry.
Has the other guy come back into the room?
Oh yeah. Well after, like, he came in, and that's when the robot came in. After he'd already plugged in, so his break ended. I mean, again, 10-minute breaks, so it would have been 35 or so minutes. So 25 minutes after, or 15 minutes after he came back in, that the robot came in, and then you disconnected and plugged him into, or plugged her rather, into the computer. Do we got do we got the chronological sequence? Because it is a bit confusing.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay.
Is there any message Orla can? I'm sorry, Ula can kind of like signal to me that they're ready to be unplugged? Like
No.
if my nope,
Not anymore. Not because of that roll.
Turn the phone off.
because I'm pretty sure you're not gonna want to sit in there for a long time. But I don't want Ula to yell at me for yanking her out.
The best way the best way to describe what Ula did is she turned off and force quit Teams, so there is no messaging out.
We have no option to restart the executable from this terminal.
Right.
Honestly, after a little bit of time, maybe like an hour, I would get off and unplug Ula from the thing and put her back into that robot. 'Cause
Okay.
I know she probably can't.
So
I know she can't get out herself.
you
is what
plug
I'm getting.
you plug her in and kind of look at the robot kind of desperately, hoping that you didn't just interrupt some very important sequencing
Yes.
that was done. And
Yes.
Ula, what does Ula say?
Oh, Ula, it just like boots up. Ah, well done. Turns to like walk out slowly.
Goes
Sorry.
back to the bed.
And just like
the thing
moves
that
out.
you both would notice now that you're out of kind of cyberspace, so to speak, is that the core inside of the thing, the light that's kind of glowing around it was green when you first kind of went to it. It's now kind of glowing a kind of orange color, which is basically the same color that Ula's would have been glowing when you pulled her out. It seems that that's kind of symbolic of the messaging outbound being canceled and the emotional system being offline. But so far as you understand, there is no reason why anybody would know or be aware of that.
Cool.
Back to bed, Zellery?
Back to bed.
All right. Nobody comes around. You head back to your space to go back to work because you realize that having been stuck in there for about an hour, you did miss a sequence. Thank you, by the way, for putting the packs inside the bed first. That would have been heinous. So you're like, I'm getting out of this bed anyway. As the other guy's just like, absolutely melting. So you would see that the next task is for you to place another coolant sleeve inside of the emotional receptors, the same thing that you did the first time. However, you would also know, understanding the system, having seen it, that it's not required because they're no longer running.
Right.
You turn them off. So you can go through with that task or not, or you can try and wander free.
I guess I'm just gonna try to wander 3 now that I don't have that task anymore, but I have no vision on the token, so I can't like actively
Weird.
wander 3 free.
Well, let's fix that. Still no?
No.
How about now?
Oh, there it is. There it is. We're good. We're good. I got it.
Okay, so when you come into this space, which about an hour and a half or 2 hours ago had one guy smoking a cigarette in it, now has 2 individuals in this space. One is sitting on this couch, looking at this terminal, and is idly occasionally kind of reaching up and hitting it. And then there is another gentleman who's seated here, who appears to have something attached to his head, which attached to it is an core. So he has it's like a cerebro, like almost like helmet, right? And then attached to his head is an core. And he's sitting in this really comfy looking lounger, and he's watching these TVs with this device in his head. And you are walking in to this room.
Until I saw that.
Well, you kind of stop at the point where you feel like if you step forward anymore, they'll hear you. You feel like you can slowly moonwalk back, and the sliding of the feet will be quiet enough on the back pedal that you'll be fine. All right.
Yeah.
Who the hell's that guy?
Yeah. I don't trust any of this ish.
Yeah. So heading back to the chamber just to wait for your next task, which is in 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. If you go through normal processes, I'll say this. At this point, without anybody ripping off masks, jumping out of beds, and rushing and doing anything crazy, the shift is going to go by uneventfully. Okay?
I think so.
Do you wish to remain here, Ula, or do you wish to get received by Zelry? Of course, that will have to be communicated verbally and in person, so that'd probably be during Zelry's next break.
I imagine during their next or her next break, she'll ask to be like removed from this bot.
And then you'll shove the other Urbot back in.
Yep.
It's not going to remember what happened, so.
It'll boot back up where it was, pick up the processes based on the timestamp.
Yep. Okay.
Um,
Pocket the Urbot.
Yeah.
And head back through the shifting. All right, Zelry, at the end of the shift, you see the other guy go, "Hey, great job," and kind of, stretches himself out, gets up and heads towards the door, getting ready to leave. Do you do likewise, or is there anything you want to do before you leave?
Can I instead of yeah, I kind of want to wander around a little bit more.
Okay, so you follow him a bit. So once it gets to this point, you can see him going, and you can hear the doors kind of south of you opening as they get ready to have people go. So again, you think you might have a very narrow window if you want to jump into the broadcast room, so to speak. The break room has obviously been at your pleasure the entire time. I'm surprised in a full 12-hour span you didn't stop in there to grab something to eat or anything. You only had 10 minutes, so, not really a lot of window.
Yeah. So when this group leaves, it's not seamless when the other group comes in, is it?
It's pretty close. It's a few minutes tops.
Okay. So I guess when I notice both leave this room, I want to hop into this room.
Okay, so what I need for that, and this is going to be me determining, because there really isn't any other action I can think of. This is going to be a skulk roll.
All right.
This will be desperate, and it will be great effect. You're going for a great effect here.
Okay.
And if you want to spend a gambit, you can. If you want to push, you can.
What happens when you stress all the way out?
What happens when you stress all the way out? Great question.
I mean, I'm 3 away.
Sure, yeah, we're almost there. Hell yeah. I believe we start getting wounds. But you also have someone who can help you here, so there's that as well. Keep in mind, Ula is present. Ula can help.
I know, because I was kind of thinking, as soon as I pop in, what can Ula fit in is my first thought.
Technically, Ula is Orin, so if Ula
Yeah.
assists, Orin will be stressing.
Well, how can... I mean, I don't mind stressing. I was just wondering. I'm
Yeah.
a stress. I'm a take 2.
And
Why not?
do you want to assist, Zach?
Does that cost me anything?
1 stress.
Nah, I've literally 1 left before I tick over into trauma.
Don't do
So
it.
that's what happens. By the way, that's what happens when you get down. It starts
Okay.
going into trauma, and you start taking like real damages.
Okay, so 1 bonus.
You get like real fucked up.
Alright. I got a 6!
All right, we nailed
Hey,
it
see,
then.
you didn't do me.
So you pop in without issue. Inside 2 chairs, 2 computer terminals, bunch of different types of monitors. There's actually like a strange type of monitor you've never seen before. So normally monitors are like thin display systems, very cool, casual, simple stuff. There's one that looks like it's got a big old box on the back of it for some reason. You don't know what that is. Maybe it's some sort of weird computer, some sort of strange thing. Out of character, it's a CRT. But yeah, you see a bunch of shit. How good are you with computers, do you think? And what do you want to do in this space?
Is there anything Ula can fit into?
Nope. But Ula can, there's nothing Ula the core will fit into to take over, but Ula can pop out, little devices and engage, different, inserts.
Okay. Well, I think
She'd probably
I
have
would,
a USB.
I would put her, near any port that I see on a main computer and, set her down. Here's a thing.
Yeah, because she can limited move, and she can, limited, do stuff. She can fly, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just when she was logged into the computer, she could not pull herself out.
Okay.
And then,
I think I thought Ula was a core itself, so I was misunderstood. I got you.
right, when she got out of the robot, it would have just been like a, well,
I got
now
you.
I am not being loaded into it, because she can't load herself into another core
I
system.
got you. I would have put Ula down on the table then, so that she could find whatever she can get into to
Okay.
plug and play.
So yeah, little wires start kind of spiraling about, looking for some sort of, mechanical orifice. And sure enough, there's a couple connection ports that will allow you not a direct connect to systems, but will allow you basically an interface connect. So it's effectively like you're plugging into a keyboard jack. You can actually, mess with what's going on the screens. So you can see that most of the screens are just the broadcast in general. But then there are other screens that are present that show where the sequencing is going, and it looks like the amount of data that's kind of flooding past your sensors in this point is very voluminous. It's a lot of data. So it seems that whoever does this job, or whatever the job that they're doing here, their task is to ensure that no scrambling, no hacks, no problems arrive in the code. And it seems that the main point of the interface that you're logged into is to deject and alter the code in minute ways to make sure that the code that's being broadcast out, the stream remains constant. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you could fuck up the code if you want, but that will be noticeable to people who are watching the broadcast, like Weird Brain Guy, if he's still watching, and other people.
Right.
But you know that if you were here in a more desperate situation, you could just start erasing the code, and the broadcast would go away.
Are there any other systems I can access from this terminal other than the broadcast?
There are.
Do I have any
Yeah,
secure? There's no security systems
You're
or
not-
anything running through this terminal.
you're not actually accessing a system. You're just accessing
Okay.
a means of being able to type against the code. So basically,
Got
the
it.
stream is hitting this system and then moving past it. There is no access port internally for you to move from this system to anywhere else. It's an in and then out situation for the stream.
Okay.
But you could erase it. The thing is that the stream would continue onwards. But if you basically punchline it here and set it up to be so, it would close out. The problem is that the second another person got to this terminal that wasn't you, they could just fix it. So you
Yep.
would need to basically kill everything on the floor and then do that, and that would be a way of shutting down the broadcast. Or at least one way of shutting down the broadcast. Make sense?
And I think Ula would be like communicating that.
To you, or to Zelry, but also to Orin and then to the crew?
Yeah, Orin would probably be actually saying this out loud to the captain if he cares enough to listen.
Who the hell are you? He would say straight into Orin's face. How'd you get on my ship?
The fuck have you been talking for just like 25 minutes straight? God
Who are you?
damn. Yeah.
I'd be listening.
Okay, so thoughts?
A lot of fun stuff happening in there.
Yeah. So I'm connected to the data stream, but if I shut it off, somebody's just gonna run in here and turn it back on again.
That's why we gotta blow it up. That's why we gotta blow it up.
Okay. Anything you folks want to do before leaving? Because again, this is a quick pop situation. You have a very limited window. Do you grab Ula back up and then rush out?
Are there any other terminals in here other than is there like a security camera or a keypad or on the door or anything
No.
that Ula can access? Cool.
So what you're looking at is just a bunch of terminals that seem to
Yep.
be directly connected to primarily that big TV in the center, and it seems that the stream kind of flows through these processing units.
Yeah.
It looks like the only other thing that's kind of a port to enter is underneath the CRT looking device, and also over here are kind of the same kind of cooling ports that the beds had.
Yeah.
And these actually have the cooling cells in them. So it looks like the IT guys who are in here do their own cooling. They don't let the robots do it.
Makes sense. We're unreliable.
We suck.
Yeah,
Do you pop out?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay. That was the last
Once
time. I was going to ask.
Ula's done,
Mhm.
I don't want to leave just yet. I want to check out one of these rooms down here. You said they were like hospital rooms, surgery rooms.
Yeah, so when you move over to it, it looks like it's some sort of medical room with like a data pad chart next to it. I would say at this point you would realize that it is quiet and it's been a few minutes, but you can hear the scanner going from the main chamber, and you're pretty sure that means that the next wave of people is actually entering in. So you walk over, there's a data pad in kind of like a small little side piece. You know, you've been to a hospital, right? Or you've been to a doctor's office. They put the charts next to the door. Instead of it being like a clipboard, it's a data pad. And then it's a locked door that doesn't have any markings on it, but looks like a medical bed or medical room space. Normally those have like little windows in the middle, and this one does, but the window's blacked out.
What's the data pad? Is data pad made of metal? Can I take it with me?
You can take it with you. It's not made out of metal.
Alright, I'm gonna take it with me. I'm gonna grab one off the
Ceramic.
wall.
Okay, you grab it, you tuck it, and you move towards the exit.
Yeah.
As you do so, you can see that there are people being scanned in, so you kind of embarrassingly stand there as a flood of the next wave of people kind of come in and are exiting out. And once everybody has kind of left, you feel a hand placed on your shoulder. You are the new recruit, are you not? The new emotional dispenser?
I am.
Pleasure to meet you. We do like to run a tight ship here due to security concerns. I understand you are new and may not be as timely as others. You probably had to gather yourself after a first day on the job. This will be your first mark. please don't make this a habit. On your third mark, you will be relocated. I hope you understand.
No, I understand. I apologize. I got turned around and I left the room.
Of course, it's a new facility. I do want to make sure you understand. I didn't count as 2 marks because you're new.
All the hallways kind of look the same, and I guess I should have walked out with my roommate.
Last
instead.
person comes through, like, as you're, like, in the middle of that sentence, and just, like he doesn't even care about the words you're saying. He just gestures towards the door, like, get the fuck out of here. Complete management mode. Like, he's just like, I don't care. I don't care. In his mind is what he's saying, but you can also tell in his face he doesn't care. Do you leave? Or do you kill him? We go now, you yell into Ula. You're like, we're doing it now!
Flashback to the
shit.
The shit.
I told you would need it, said Shijo.
and just like jump on the guy. No, I'm just gonna leave.
Oh, I love it. Okay, exit it out. No wooden stabby devices required. Okay, so with the new information,
what's that
I'm
pad say
heartbroken.
that I took?
well, so when you get out, you probably don't want to just pull it out and start reading it like on the way out or in the same floor, right?
Yeah,
So
wait.
you head back to the ship. When you arrive, you very quickly realize that your next day at work is probably not going to be a good one, because Ula would also be able to tell you that they're probably going to check everything that you just did because of that last beat and find out that a lot of fuckery happened. So it's a good thing you're not going back to your room because they probably are going to try and meet you there.
I thought it was a
Should have just got two marks then.
What I mean to say is scrutiny comes to those who earn it, and by waiting around, you earned it. Which means that you're pretty sure that if they find out what happened in the room with Orin, like the shutting off of the emotional processors, or not Orin, Ula, but yeah, you get my meaning, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. I just want to make sure Zelri would know she's not dumb. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that, like, in world, you would know that the pooch is whatever that happens to a pooch. When the jig is up. The other terminology that means you're yeah.
This is cooked.
The goose is cooked. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. The pad. Sorry. Let me answer the question. So, it appears to detail an Imish individual who was subjected to testing. And when you review the testing, you realize this is pretty common practice physical hegemonic testing that is performed on most citizens of the hegemony. However, it looks like there was a large brocade of emotional and mental tests that were performed on the individual in solitary confinement, specifically relating to the broadcast structure. And according to the datapad, this individual left deceased. Notes from the unnamed doctor or physician, behavioral health specialist, kind of combination of all three, is that the Imish mind appears to be very independent, very scrutinizing, and when subjected to harsher measures of emotional control broadcasting, appears to be resistant to a fault where a number of issues arise inside of the processing, including blood swells, large migraine headaches, and in this case, a neural shutdown.
Wow.
Not really much
So-
else on the pad.
Well,
But go ahead, you had a question. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so how do you guys want to proceed? They're brainwashing people to death.
Right?
Yeah.
Could always no, it's in the middle of the building. Fuck.
I wanna be specific. It's not brainwashing. It is emotional control. This is very different.
It's brainwashing.
It's washing. Yeah, we wash the brain.
You're washing them. It's not brainwashing, it's brainwashing. Okay. A little different.
We got okay.
Totally different connotation.
What's the plan?
But still, it's awful. We should blow it up. We should get rid of it.
I agree with you, Captain.
I don't like it.
Burn it with fire.
I believe,
It's abominable.
Yeah.
I believe that is the consensus in the chat, and it would be even further if Brent were in there.
Yeah, always.
Burn it. Burn it all.
Burn it all.
We did bring a flamethrower now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he holds it up.
That would go through lasers. That might melt barrels, you know?
Oh man.
Just put it around the shield and then shoot the fire at the.
So, are we? Do we care about like the employees not getting roasted in the flames?
Do we?
They're kind of
It isn't
I
even.
mean-
It isn't even week, so I don't think we should, based on historicals. But because every odd week we care and have like a soul, but then every even week is when we don't fucking care. So it's just up to you.
Shit, so we could have done it last week.
we could.
Wait, last week
No.
did last time y'all played, did we care?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's an even week, so go nuts. Is what I'm saying.
Or maybe it's just my presence that
Oh, I
makes
see what you're saying.
everyone be heartless.
No, they were totally like not heartless last time. Like they were.
So it is my presence
I mean-
that makes everyone heartless.
Although I guess
It's just a matter
That's
of
what
how
I
much
want.
they
I
listen
mean,
to me or not, you know?
it really depends on how you look at it. I mean, Magpie literally fucked a guy to death.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
The
The
thing that
guy
we
to
did.
perpetual brain
Johnny.
milking.
Cover your ears.
Cover your ears,
Jesus
Johnny.
Christ.
Too young, too sweet,
You're too young for this.
too sweet. So such a good boy.
And
Oh my
then
god.
he kept something to remember him
Oh
by.
yeah. Well, I mean, see,
Oh
there you go.
no.
There you
Oh,
go.
no, yeah.
Sweet.
I mean,
Have
he
something
kept
to remember
teaching
him by,
them.
or took a souvenir.
Yeah, right. It's like beating an edge into oblivion
Yeah.
and then
Damn,
took
damn.
a souvenir.
Well, to be honest, like
That's
they did.
Hey, we got a cause to.
She didn't know he was gonna die. Like nobody knew that was gonna
Oh,
happen.
okay.
We did.
no.
I think that's especially after the surveillance we've just done in this first portion of the mission. We didn't really understand the gravity of how fucked up the hegemony is, right? Like we didn't get it. Now we're on board. We understand. Season 1 is definitely solidifying the hegemony's a fucked up group of people. Good. That's a good point of a show there. I like that. But step 2. We have information. We did not get enough information or anything to change the dynamic here from desperate to risky. I don't think. Not with what we had, in my opinion. So we're still in a desperate position. And the plan still is go through the front door and murder and destroy. Is that fair
Well,
to say?
Well, maybe
Well,
not.
You know,
Murder. Yeah, that's a strong.
Murder's very strong.
Listen, that manager was an asshole.
Liberate.
Okay?
Liberate is better.
It's always
We're
like-
going to liberate.
Point of
Are we
order.
going to liberate their souls from their bodies? Is that
I mean,
If
that's
they
their
get
choice.
the wrong idea,
Just-
yeah.
Maybe you just like Batman. You know, just
Let the gods sort him out, you know?
We don't want to say it's like you have 40 seconds to get out of here before we.
Liberate
You have 40
you.
seconds to prepare your defenses before we.
All those
exactly.
people are
Maybe-
brainwashed in there, though. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
not
all in
there.
there watching brainwashing videos. So
Brains are washed,
Well,
so we need to get in
okay.
there.
I
And we need
feel
to.
I don't
They
know.
kind of-
Okay, is it just me or has like there been like a lot of like weirdly sexual undertone
What?
What?
this
What undertone?
What are you
episode?
talking about?
No, no.
Yeah.
Where?
What did I miss?
Yeah, what?
I missed the
What-
good parts just
what
now.
undertone?
I was
Magpie, right? Magpie, we're
No, like that
hearing
whole
it,
thing
too.
when you were like inserting the Urbot into the
Yes,
robot.
inserting and ejecting and
Ejecting,
What?
inserting.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So,
So even like the brainwashing,
So-
there's
so-
something a little
Wait, what?
like
So
too.
what? Look. We created a horny show, okay?
No, I know,
This is the horny show.
I know, but
Let me
it's like in a
sign up for
weird,
this.
like I don't know. There's just something too visceral about the
Oh, I'm
brainwashing.
sorry. I'll
I
stop.
don't know why.
I'll stop. I'll stop.
It's like brain. I feel like brainwashing. It's like okay, I get what brainwashing is, but brainwashing just seems kind of like perverted.
Oh my
for
god,
some
it
reason.
probably happens inside of like a basement with like one of those like old kind of like plastic like wash bins, you know, like the oh, I don't like it.
God.
Some guy with a mullet's picking his belly
So,
button.
why is there a guy with a mullet?
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe his name is Jesus. Who knows? I mean, like
Or his name's Cletus.
Cletus could be Cletus.
He doesn't really pronounce it well enough for us to
Please.
understand.
Sounds like Jesus.
Cletus.
What's your name?
Okay, so we're going
Why are we like this?
because
You just better-
it's funnier
Okay.
this way.
All right. So I think
We're
like
going.
in this, I mean, I don't know. I guess if we just, I feel weird about going in and just like killing the.
Innocent people.
Well, they're. I mean, are they innocent? Are
Well,
they
we
not?
don't
I mean,
have
are they
to.
innocent? Are they
So-
innocent?
The best.
Technically,
Maybe like
no.
forced
They're
to the.
loyal
I
to
don't
the
feel like-
hegemony. I don't
Well,
think
maybe they're
they've
forced
been
into the
described
hegemony.
as loyal to the hegemony.
The best metric I would say for this mission, and I think it's something that the group has played at before, is if they aren't a problem, they don't need to be solved.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Correct.
So if they don't make themselves a problem, they'll
You're
be fine.
You're not going to focus on, hey, you need to stay there, and you need to, but if they come out of the room with a blaster, you're going to shoot them, right? Or
Yeah, exactly.
stab them with a
Yeah.
light blade and watch the
Okay.
light slowly leave their eyes
Yes.
as the camera pans to your horrified reaction as you realize it's just some 18-something-year-old who fresh off the academy, and they were just trying to do what they thought was right. They were trying to be the
Or
good-
like in the
good guy.
captain's case, it pans to his face, and he's just like, yeah.
like you fucking
Well,
did,
hey.
bro.
He's eating a fucking
They chose. They
sandwich.
chose. They
Yeah,
chose the.
he just
They're-
out of nowhere he just pulls a ham
Like,
sandwich.
pulls a sandwich out of his fucking coat.
He's got his feet up. No, he's got his feet up. He's sitting in a chair.
Somehow
Smoking.
In the middle of the battle.
in
He's
the middle of the
smoking.
battlefield. Okay, the plan.
Okay.
The plan remains the same, or we're not changing
Yes.
it, right? Okay.
Do
so
we?
No.
let's,
So I also, I don't know if I remember. I mean, is the map in front of my face? Yes.
yes.
Are those like turrets?
Yeah.
Can those kill us?
Well, we're gonna work through it, okay?
Okay.
Because we've already
Right.
worked through it a couple times. I just want to make sure we understand the scene. This is what's happening physically. So,
All right.
Oren, you and the group move out of the elevator, walking straight towards the door. Zelri, you walk towards the door, hit it, boom, the door opens for you because of the badge.
Mm-hmm.
You enter into the scan space, and as it starts to scan, Oren locks it into position, snaps the shield, boom, it projects the field. As that's happening, who's taking out the laser grid, and how's it being done?
Parash and
I figured I would go for one, and
Tarash the other?
No, the
There's gonna
laser grid.
But
oh, the grid.
yeah, we shoot it.
Yeah.
We shoot
Yeah,
it.
we
shoot
shoot-
it. Oh
we
yeah,
shoot
we just shoot it.
Okay, so
can't I go through the grid though? One will let me go
No,
through.
No,
no, you'd have to be
it
scanned
doesn't
first.
deactivate until you're scanned.
Correct. So Tarash and Jazz are kind of behind Oren. Oren's got the shield active, ready to pass through. They stand to the side of the shield, and as he moves to let them get a sight on the laser grid, Pow pow! Just 2 solid shots at the middle from their blasters. Pop, break, laser field drops. The second they do, the 2 massive turrets lock in on Orin. Hit. And if you've ever seen Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, who we are proprietarily not the same, but the droidicas, when they drop those shields and there's kind of like that weird bubbly effect, that's the same thing that the Earth Shield is doing when the blasters hit it. It kind of displaces the blasters hits. And so you walk forward, and as you do, Jazz and Tarash, who are right behind you, look towards the lines that connect to the blasters. Pow, pow, shoot them. Blasters stop being powered and locked down. You've stopped and processed through the first step. But what you all realize is the lights up at the top have all shifted to red.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So this is the part.
Nothing good. Nothing good, buddy.
So this is the part where we
It's
get
the
into
best in character reaction.
what now?
Like
Wait,
the
what's
third
that?
red cap looks up. What does that mean?
This is the part where we get into an action beat, and so it's going to be what you think of right off the top of your head. Go for it. Do what you think is best. If you aren't sure, you could ask questions, but try to kind of act in the moment, because that means for better hilarity, first off, for me, and also better roleplay, in my opinion. When you're thinking off the top of your dome and just inserting yourself into the character, what the fuck would I do? So there are 2 passageways. There's one to the left and there's one to the right. We're going to go through everybody. If you want to wait for somebody else to go before you go, just say that when we get to your turn. Starting with Orin, you're in the lead. Shield's active. You'll have to drop it and pop it back open when you kind of like move through narrow spaces, but most of the doors we've seen so far are fine. You can walk through with the shield active. So what would you like to do, Orin? Which way, left or right?
Right.
All right, go ahead and move yourself over to that door. We'll get to you here in a second. Shijo, you're next on the docket. Where are you going?
Well, sorry, did Zelri get a chance to come back and hang out at the ship or with us?
And she
Okay.
basically blathered all the information that she learned. And Orin
Okay.
also did while Orin was shipside.
I'm gonna activate my light sword
Blade.
blade.
Gotta remember, don't want any
It's
heat from
it's not a
Disney.
saber.
Yeah, it's certainly not a saber. Yeah.
And then oh, I was gonna throw a blaster at. Is anybody not armed? Zoe, do you have a weapon?
I do not.
Okay, I'm gonna throw you a blaster.
What's your loadout at current, Zari?
I have nothing.
What's that?
So they have nothing.
Oh, you didn't take a loadout?
Because I was.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense. So you have a blaster now.
Mhm.
It would have been you would have wanted to get it done and the wheels moving as quickly as possible. So this makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the longer they had to kind of sort out what's going on, the longer they would have probably set up more defense. Good. Okay, you have a blaster. Well then, we'll just go ahead and do you next. Where do you want to go? Since you got tossed a blaster from, oh my God, Lupita, my throat got a little bit dry there. Where would you like to go?
So, Lupita, did you move to the right over there? Is that where you went?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know the communication rooms are to the left. I'm gonna go the left.
And do you call for anybody in specific to go with you?
I would just say, in general, the communication room is this way.
I would
Okay.
go that way.
Yeah, and
That
Orin's
was already my intention.
yeah, Orin's been here, so Orin must have a plan. So there's something going
Yeah.
on there.
I'm just assuming that we didn't see security.
Ah,
If there is some sort of security apparatus, they're going to come from the other way, and I have the shield.
smart. Okay.
So if I can block off the right side, if that's the way that people respond from, like the left side seemed to be where the communications is and everything else. So like we can move them if I hold off this corridor was Orin's thought.
Okay.
Yes.
We saw that Dax went to the left. Jazz, which way are we going?
Left.
And Tarosh. Fight sounds like it's going to be on the right.
Oh,
Yeah. What?
Wow.
Two ladies without a defender are going to be off to the
Imagine
left.
Cap runs 3 steps, looks at Orin, and Orin goes, fights this way, Cap. Turns that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So Tarash, either go where the fighting's happening or stay with the
Oh,
lady
yeah.
to protect. Okay, cool. Perfect. We've got 2 solid defense units and intent. Okay, so as Team 1, which we're going to call Jazz's team, move out, do you wish to go for the blast door? Which, upon being read, you would have heard kind of loud whooshing noises, and you would see seems to have been secured. It is sealed shut.
No, I'm moving towards the right corridor.
Okay. Similarly to the space that you saw on the... this is not battle music. I need to change it. Hold on. Let me get the battle music going. Squad tactics. I think this one's pretty good.
Also, as we were moving, I want to ping out for like life forms.
Okay, 1 second on that.
Okay.
Ping their IPs.
Maybe this.
I have a detonator on me, by the way. Is a detonator? I think I read it
Their
right where it was saying.
Schwepipis.
So, at Schwipipis, of course, that is how it's pronounced. That would, of course, be how it's pronounced. So, as you enter into this space here, you would see that there is a hallway, and it seems to have, like you saw before as Ula, Orin, medical doors. To the left, there's a hallway, and as you come out and around it, you hear the whir of blasters. 2 blaster turrets sequenced one above the other at different positions down the hallway move. This hallway is not wide enough, or is wider than the shield, so the shield will operate as prescribed on the tin. You and 1 other person close to you can be protected by the shield. If someone else is trying to get into that cover, it's not going to work. So if you want to stay out in the field there, you'll be protected by the blaster fire. Is anyone else staying out there with you, or is one of the others going to retreat back?
I want to take cover here, like in this corner. I won't be behind the shield.
I'll hop behind him.
And bam, 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 slamming against the shield. It seems to be continually hammering on the shield, but holding. The shield is holding.
We're gonna move up.
What you're realizing as you're moving, and Jazz, you'd be the one that's realizing this, as you're kind of like anticipating Orin's movement and moving, you realize that if you pop out for just a second, even to shoot, you're probably going to get hammered by blaster fire. So this is a very stressful situation that you're in just to start. Bear with me here. I need to read something on the shield. The shield's glitch is after deflecting so many shots, the shield will lock out and power down for up to an hour. Okay, so...
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's still shooting, so you're desperately...
That's why I'm trying to
engaging
move quickly.
Okay,
Yep.
What is the goal once you get up the hallway?
I will... Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, does the shield reach to the top of the ceiling?
No, it does not.
Okay, so can I throw a detonator over the shield over to try to get like right in front of the door, just hit all of it?
Yeah, but what I'm saying here, I just want to make sure you understand. We're going to have a roll, and you're going to choose what the action roll is. But understand that the failure, it's going to be if the blaster fire hits the grenade, because it is a moving target, that it would sequence, and it could detonate on your side of the field. So I just want to make sure you're clear on that. So go ahead and you already said you're doing it. We're doing fun times. Don't go back.
Would you entertain a scramble for that?
That sounds great. Yeah, because you're trying to kind of pop out and chuck it, pop over and chuck it. Yeah, we love that. So do you want to push it?
Position was desperate, right?
We are desperate as hell. Yeah.
Effect is.
I would like to assist.
With the force.
Yep. So I'll like guide it.
Try and kind of guide it through the blasters, or kind of dispense the blaster fire. Love that.
Brilliant.
That's good. So +1 dice and minus or +1 stress on you, Lupita.
Got it.
Effect is going to be for this grate.
Okay. Bonus dice 1.
Bonus dice is 1 so far. Do you want to push? Okay, that's 2 bonus dice. Do you want to gambit?
Do we want to waste our gambit?
Probably not.
Yeah, I think we're good.
2 dice.
We're good with 2.
Okay, scramble it. All right, we got a 6.
Nice.
So you chuck the grenade, it hurls through. There's a blaster shot that's about to hit it. You see it kind of shifted to the side as Lupita kind of shifts it very quickly. And then the grenade hits, bounces off of the turret and then detonates right near it, causing the turret's head to smash out and fall to the side. A large kind of burst inwards and around it. And it also seems to knock out this door here, which looked like it was a emergency door anyways, and it breaks off. But this other blaster, through the smoke, you can still see red lines kind of slamming into the field. Orin, at this point, you can see the field kind of pulsing, and you realize that it is about to deactivate. You've taken hundreds of shots because, again, these are heavy blasters. That doesn't mean that they're firing bigger blaster shots. It means they're firing a shit ton of blaster shots a lot at a very short order of time. So, again, desperate situation. You're still holding the shield. You can still take actions. Lupita, you still have an action to take too. But I would say that as far as actions go, Jazz, you're kind of spent getting back behind the shield, looking for a runaway if the shield drops. So, Orin and Lupita, whoever speaks first, whatever you want to do.
I do have a way shield. I don't know like how the difficulty of it would pan out, but I can block blaster bolts with the way, and I would resist it with resolve. And if I resist successfully, I can spend a stress to redirect the fire.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So if you want to pop out
okay.
and kind of draw fire
Yeah.
to you to loosen
Pop
it off
out.
with the shield, it kind of immediately kind of shifts half of its fire, so it's kind of firing two shots, two streams of blaster fire. You're going to go ahead and attempt to redirect. So you said you're rolling what?
Resolve.
Okay, go for it.
Um,
No one can
Can
assist
I
you
get-
here, I would say.
oh wait, let me I'll expend two
Actually-
stress to push.
Yeah,
Could you command
I
to
would-
assist?
I would say you could get assistance here from either Jazz or Orin, and the reason for that is Jazz could pop out to cause the fire going to the shield to also come at you to give you more opportunity to hit.
Okay.
And Orin could also kind of like shift the shield closer to you and drop it so that it's firing at him but over him into you. That makes sense?
Okay.
They can both kind of bait themselves into it, get the stress, possible trauma, by helping in that way.
Does anyone have stress to spare?
I think Orin's
Let me
staying
take.
behind
Let
the
me.
shield.
Let me take the stress. Let me take the stress.
Okay.
Okay.
So that'll be 2 bonus die.
All right. Okay.
2
Yeah.
5s.
So that will be a success, but with a bit of a penalty. So what I'm going to say is you kind of successfully block a few of them on the first initiation, and then you kind of wind up and kind of crack one of them, throwing it back towards it. And as your bolt is flying directly at it, another bolt, which you're not really paying attention to because you're kind of focused on that bolt going where you want it to, comes streaming in and hits you in the shoulder.
Oh, John. Okay, can we resolve something mechanically?
Yes.
Okay, so I have to expend a stress or add a stress in order to make it bounce back. But obviously, my technique wasn't flawless. I take a hit in the shoulder. So, in the little box it says suffer 6 stress
Minus the highest die result, so 1 stress.
So 1. I am now at a limit. So I've reached my stress limit. Do I now take a trauma?
So that's perfect timing. So yeah, you would suffer a trauma, and I think narratively that makes sense. I don't need to apply additional trauma. That just narratively hits. So the trauma that you suffer, I believe there's choices for me here, right?
Cold, haunted, obsessed, paranoid, reckless, soft, unstable, or vicious.
I'm gonna say that it knocks you off kilter. Like you were not expecting it. Like you were very satisfied with the stroke, the master stroke of the way, and then it kind of hitting you despite all of your focus has knocked you off kilter. So you're unstable.
Oh, nice. Ah, fucking
Sonic gets it
bitch.
real good.
I kind of like get knocked over.
But
and I'm like,
as you're cursing out into the way and also into the world, they don't really hear it because the next detonation of the other turret blasting apart is actually filling the hallway. We're going to pause from this scene and we're going to cut to the other side. You folks come out, and one of you knows exactly what it looks like here. So what are we moving to when we get there?
Going straight for the second door on the left where the communication.
Door's closed. Door's locked.
Oh, blow it up.
Is it?
You slap a
That's
detonator
fine.
on it?
Yeah.
My scan card don't work on it.
Nope. You're not allowed in this room.
Oh.
You weren't supposed to be here the first time.
Ooh, the detonator.
You can get out, no problem, but you're not in
Yeah.
there yet. So yeah, do you slap a detonator on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you back away, and you back away a good distance and probably pop into the break room, knowing that you're in a hallway, and that's definitely going to funnel some of that detonation burst. I would say, you know what, Tarash is kind of he's kind of a hardened, kind of like military dude, I would say. It's probably a shaped charge. You probably were expecting a breach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you can stand right next to it, actually, because it's just going to funnel all of the attention straight into the door.
Yeah.
So you watch as it basically slams and punctures like the door, and you can
Can
actually.
you ready?
Go ahead.
Can you ready his flamethrower?
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
blowing up.
The door pops open, and the door actually flies in far enough. You actually see it slam into a chair and split the chair in half. And whatever was in the chair is just a large red mess. And it kind of bangs off of the keyboard and kind of hits the ground and splashes all of the monitors with the blood. There's another chair that now has a guy who's kind of like ducking under the desk as you kind of enter into the space. But a person who was dressed like Zellery is dressed because she's dressed in the uniform. Just got split in half by the door, and another one is hiding under the desk. Tarash, you can smell a specific ammonia-like smell, and there's like a tinge of kind of like a shit. It smells like shit in here. Someone's shitting themselves.
Somebody shit their pants.
Oh,
for
shit.
sure.
Literally.
Oh.
I literally just like move whatever's left of the guy in the chair, just like scoot the chair over,
Yeah.
and like wipe the blood off the screen.
Oh, sorry. Pause. Where's Ula? Who has Ula? Where is Ula? I need you to answer this question for me, Zach, because I do not know where Ula is, and that could be important in this scene. It could also not be important in this scene. Where is Ula?
Flashback.
Zari still has Ula.
Zellery still has Ula.
Okay, perfect. I presume that was the case, but I assumed that Ula was given back to the group and, like, you know, given her agency again instead of being a.
No, we didn't talk about this plan because that would have been boring, but the plan was for Ula to stay on that team. Team A was going to move down the right hallway and take out the security while Team B went in there. Totally planned this out. It's
So,
fine.
Dax-
We saw that in the flashback.
You're at the terminal. Zellery, you kind of walk over to the mess. Of course, nothing you would be, unused to. You have Ula, so that is another part of the situation if you want to add her to the docket. And what's the plan, Dax?
Literally ignoring the kid that shit his pants. I want to take it down, but like, I don't know the best way to do that, obviously, right now.
Okay, so what's great about
I mean,
that?
I do as a character,
What's great about that is we come to a very fun point of deciding who gets to be the primary. So, we all know, based on Zach's response to a number of stimuli, that Zach cannot take another stress, which means that Zach cannot help in any way. If Zach helps,
Unless you make me.
Zach dies.
Zach gets
Trauma.
dramatically changed.
We don't want to see,
Characteristically.
but I do want to see, but we don't
I
want to see.
mean, I have no stress. I will be primary.
Well, then, what I'm saying is,
No, Zellery has stress.
Ula would be primary, and then Dax would help
Yeah.
Ula with the hack.
Yeah.
Which means
Okay.
that you could help applying one stress to yourself and adding a bonus dice to Ula, and then Ula would be using their
Yeah.
hack to try and breach.
Okay,
that
that
sound
makes
good?
sense.
Unless I go put
Yeah.
Ula back in that robot.
That doesn't change anything.
But they don't need to be in the
No.
robot. We can put them in the computer.
Yeah, Ula does not gain
Okay.
stress for being in a robot.
Well, no, I just thought put her in that robot, then she could be that robot doing stuff. I don't know.
No. You're plugging her in.
No,
So she's doing the keyboard stuff again.
you just plug her into the
Okay.
computer.
And then Dax is also on the other keyboard, or the same keyboard,
Mhm.
because this is a TV
Yeah.
show. So we're getting a double hack.
Yeah.
Of course.
Two
Yeah,
people,
this
same
is
keyboard.
NCIS, yo.
We don't know anything about
Oh.
keyboards or how they work. So, that said,
God.
Ula is making the hack roll, or the action roll. Your determination on that, actually, Zach. And then Dax is assisting in that regard. So Dax will
Yeah.
take 1 stress. You'll add +1 dice to the action that Zach will be taking. Zach, what action would you like to perform here?
More of a rigger than a hacker.
Okay, so we're going for a rig to kind of cause the system here to break down the code that's entering in.
Meltdown.
Yep, that works. Okay, so then you're going for a rig, and then
Yeah.
+1 dice. That's with the assist. I'm assuming you're not pushing.
No,
I would want you to.
I know.
But that's fair.
Not yet.
And we
But
have,
+1 die.
we have a gambit.
I don't.
Yeah.
Are we- Is this
Or
where
die or
we
play
use
it.
it?
To get the
Give
fuck
it
out
die
of
or play
here.
it.
I mean, we should probably. I mean, we could
Oh.
save it to get
Actually-
the fuck out.
Actually, John, I have something called Never Tell Me the Odds, and I did a desperate roll and rolled a 6. So do I generate a gambit?
You would generate a gambit for the crew, so you have 2 gambits.
So we have 2.
So let's
Use
use
one.
one now.
Use
Yeah,
it.
use one now.
Use one now.
And on top of that, I will offer you a devil's bargain.
Okay.
We had mentioned that this system does not have any connections to anything else. It is just a stream in, stream out. You are aware that this port is also connected to the emotions port on the other in the other room. I will give you a bonus dice if you wish it, but the effect of that bonus dice using those pathways means that regardless of success or failure, the cores that are present here will be aware of everything Ula and Orin are about. And what that means, we can't be sure. But they will be fully aware of Orin and Ula's entire processing. How the robot, how the cores, how they as a duality interact and work. Just the cores, just the robots that are on site.
I mean, it could be interesting later down. That's all you, Zach.
Oh fuck. Let's make it interesting. I'm
All
gonna
right.
do it. Fuck it. I'm not gonna think about it too hard.
Plus
That's 3
3
bonus
dice.
die.
Okay, so 5 isn't the greatest. There is obviously a negative effect present there. So you stop the stream. You know that if somebody comes back in here, they'll be able to start it back up. It is not a full lockdown. Despite the help, Dax was not able to push it any farther than Ula was. So you know you need to blow up the core. Not the core, like the core system of whatever is actually generating this code. But you are now made, the core is now made aware of you. The cores are now made aware of you. Okay? We're going to cut from that scene. We're going to go to the other scene. You've broken out the gun ports. There is a hallway in front of you. There is a door to your right. Do you wish to proceed forwards?
Yeah.
Lupita is gonna rush forward and like shove Tarish and Orin out of the way as she like moves forward recklessly.
Flashback. Remember when you told me you were going to scan for life forms?
Oh yeah.
It's something that's been plaguing you since that moment, and it's also something that you're now realizing, after deflecting the bolt, seems to have knocked you off kilter and has caused you issue. And it's more and more becoming a problem. there is an or away user that is present here. They are very powerful, and they know you are here. You don't know where they are, but they are blocking you out of the way in a lot of ways. That was a weird sentence, but they're not blocking you from using the way, but they seem to be
Yeah.
blocking you from sensing it.
Right. She'll throw a hand up. Watch out. There's a way user in here. Whoever it is, they're hiding themselves from me.
Here?
If you look in that room, sorry, we'll snap back over to that side for those watching at home. Sorry, and you would see that there's a very massive looking device. It appears to be the computing system I had mentioned to Dax when she went and found the ventilation systems that would be present here. If you go inside, and you should probably already be able to see it because of memory, but there are fans in here that are connected to it that cool it, this massive computer, which has parts and mostly hegemonic parts. And it has one slot for an core, but it does not have bot or an core in it.
Does this look like anything important?
That's basically just a plug port. It's not powering it. It seems that it's powering that. The power seems to be coming from this massive, very sturdy looking cable.
So they got a 1060 Titan in here.
So I walked in and started blasting.
All we have to do is
this board.
unplug it from the PCIe slot.
You know what? That was a good enough rant. Go ahead and get another free gambit. Fuck it. It's potentially the season finale. I'm on board. That's a damn good fucking graphics card joke. It does look like one. It's super nice. They just threw a fucking graphics card on the goddamn sheet.
It's old, but you know it gets the job done.
It's old, but it checks out. Okay, so there is a grate here that looks like it's been broken out. That looks like it might lead to a different chamber. There's also more space here that leads to other stuff. The computer itself seems to be operational. And Orin, based on knowledge from Ula, you would know that this is the computer system that generates the stream.
I want to know where I can fire my gun to, like, do the most damage to this thing.
You would realize that if destruction is the goal, the light blade just tracing it through the whole thing and cutting it in half would probably be the best metric.
Okay.
Describe how you do it, make it sound cool.
Yeah, so Lupita kind of barges in. She looks sweaty, disheveled, really not like probably y'all have never really seen her this way. Her eyes kind of like doing that like big twitchy anime thing. And she powers up the light blade and just drives it right into the center of it and drags it upward, sending, like all of the like internal components of it just cascading up into the air.
And sparks, small little bits of like orange, almost like cinders fly out from it. But after a fashion, the winding of it, the sound, the hum of it dies as the light blade is traced through it. And also, quick aside, that light blade activation noise you just made, very cool. If we do make this into a real show at some point in the very far future past my life, whoever's watching this in the future, use that effect. That was really good sound. Anyways, Orin and Jazz, to you two, is there anything that you're doing while Lupita just gets to the computer and breaks it?
Can I take pieces of the computer and throw it in the vents?
Yeah.
As they're breaking it, just throw it just.
Yeah, you grab like a panel and just chuck it into the cooling vents for sure. They start to break and smoke, and it definitely works. Or as you come around, you would see that there is another device in here. This device is not known to you. It does look like the computer with its own cooling core. The cooling core does not go up to the ceiling like the three in the other room. And based on its structure, it looks like it's a hegemonic It's made by the bad guys. It looks like it's a bad guy thing. It doesn't have any labels or any other descriptors as to what it might be.
I shouted out to Lupita, while you're at it with the blade.
Like, you do not have to tell her twice. She's in there, and like kind of like, I don't know. I keep thinking of like Carrie Underwood, like taking
Oh
a
yeah.
bat to her
Oh yeah.
cheating boyfriend's truck or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
It's that kind of energy for some
Four-wheel
reason.
drive.
I don't know.
It was 4-wheel drive.
Oh,
Right,
man.
the
Don't
four-wheel
sing
drive.
it. We can't sing it. That's not what we're doing.
Oh, right.
Okay.
So she Carrie Underwood's it.
So, the lights are still blaring. Once that scene happens, Orin, you know that the computers are destroyed. On the opposite side, quantum signature kind of connecting, you know that the sequence on that end, even if it were to restart with a test, like Ula kind of tests it, there is no sequence anymore. The sequence is ended. There is no more broadcast. The broadcast has been stopped. What would you like to do next? And again, we're kind of in a position where we can talk to one another. We're not using comms. We didn't say comms were on there, I don't think. But we do have the Ula-Orin dichotomy, so we can do that. How would you like to move?
Can Ula, now that they're like the computer isn't pushing messages, can Ula send out a message over the broadcast channel?
No.
Could I generate? No, there's no way for the system now that the computers are
Yes.
from this terminal.
Yes, you can. From that terminal, you could. You could because you're connected to the keyboard system.
Yeah.
You're a supercomputer, effectively.
Yeah.
You can just blast it in and send it.
Yeah. You wanna blast out a calling card, Captain?
No, if we're gonna be
We
found
lost
out,
Captain.
we're gonna fucking own it.
Just making pudding right at the end of the game.
Yeah. Who makes pudding right at the fucking end of the finale? It's so crazy. He says, hold on. This is the greatest part. So Orin says that, right? And it goes to the scene. And Lupita's actress is there. And Orin's actor in the metal suit is there, right? And then Captain Jazz is there, right? But it's like the back of him. And you can tell that somebody's wearing a wig, and it's not even the same actor. And then you hear a voice that kind of sounds like him go, yeah.
Double.
Do it. But it sounds like 12 times more handsome than him. It's like they call they call it Matt Mercer to do the VA on like the back of the head of some guy they just filmed it.
Damn, why am I getting this kind of flack?
Because you were
What I do?
pudding. I'm assuming
Wait,
you
when?
say yes.
Oh, you were MIA for like the big finale thing.
Yeah. Zach just asked you a question and you weren't there to answer.
Brain shut off. Yeah, do it. It's a different. Can it be a different language? Just
In different languages?
I don't know. Never mind. Do it. Yeah, do it.
Bam! You said it. Okay, so question. At this point, the mission is effectively completed. Is there anything that anyone wants to do, understanding that you're in a desperate situation, and that really hasn't come to play yet? So this is a choose-your-own-adventure moment. And I guess the choice here is, there's only 9 minutes left of tonight's session. If you retreat at this moment, you will escape. But you will...
Yeah.
The end scene will be, you guys are moving towards the top of the Kamish pylon, firing blasters, escaping as the hegemonic patrols are sinking onto your location and attempting to come for you. No crazy people that you saw in there, nothing like that. But there's always just this weird force that keeps on like linking with Lupita. And then there's also this very strange kind of humming in the back of the Ula-Orin duality that seems to be kind of locking into you. Like, it's almost like you're being
Summoned.
watched is more precise. Like, it's like they're sequencing your location. Or you remain, search around the area here to find out if there's anything else in this place that might be of interest, and we go to another episode of this series. It's up to you folks. Entirely up
I
to you.
mean-
Entirely.
I kind of like us going out like shooting, and then like superimposed is that like Captain Jazz going like "fuck you" hegemony over the broadcast,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it just
and
plays
like,
it out
but
like
then like also like the ominous like, yeah.
Well, then it cuts to
But then
Lupita, like kind of like
sleeping.
hunched over, sweaty, looking stressed out, like, what?
Yeah,
Something's happening.
and Zauri.
yeah.
What about you, Kimmy? What do
But
you
it's
think?
like all silent, and all you can hear is the message over it.
Mhm.
What about you, Kimmy? What do you think for Zauri?
Um,
Stay or go?
yeah. Oh, go. She would go.
Okay, so everybody's out is the plan.
Mm.
Okay.
Do we want to leave the calling card?
The calling card was the message. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no.
Can we also leave a
Hello.
physical calling card just
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
shits and giggles?
Mm.
I
No.
say it's graffiti that
Just
says
like
rest
carve
in
a
piss.
smiley.
We love it. Rest in
Oh my
piss.
god.
Oh, can Tarash, instead of shooting blast, can he use the flamethrower? Because I want to use the
Yes.
flamethrower.
The
on this
flamethrower.
guy.
The
Yes!
flamethrower allows you to escape onto the elevator in the first place because they were waiting for you outside. So you just burn out some soldiers and then rush towards the elevator.
I just picture Tarash is like, I didn't get to use the flamethrower. I'm just like, well, go ahead, just go and do it.
So as far as the show
Who's
goes,
stopping you?
it's like an 8-minute action sequence, and like was being said, it's just the repeat of the message that's being broadcast over to the Kamish pylon, telling people to kind of revolt. And the other thing that happens at that point is it also starts showing sequences of the pilgrims entering into the Kamish pylon at its bottom and entering up through it. It looks like they're showing a lot more restraint than they initially said they were going to. Maybe they were speaking out their asses on that a little bit, trying to sound harder than they are. And it shows the group getting up to the top of the elevator system into the docking section, desperately fighting their way through hegemonic individuals, and then getting soldiers rather, and then getting to the ship and boarding. Everybody gets on board just as you described, taking off. Lupita sweating. Everybody's like that, moving on. The scene cuts from the crew, cuts from the ship taking off into space, or cuts to the ship taking off into space, moving off of Parias. As you know, that staying here is probably not the best choice, especially with everything that's going down. You'll be very much kind of the most important people. You're hopeful that the pilgrims will be able to pull through as to what they promised regarding the prince. You know now that there's no chance of you helping in that regard. You are absolutely 100% certain that your group has been made. As far as what that means for you mechanically, just real quick, that means that we will be gaining heat as normal, but we will be gaining a wanted level. A single wanted level. So how much heat would normally be gained from this? Great question. I believe it is a total of 2 heat, which for this sector, very fun times, means we go back down to no heat, or full heat, rather, but a double wanted. Which means you are damn near the most wanted individuals in this system.
Woo!
We
Sweet.
did it.
We have succeeded.
Aftermath. The humming with Orin and Ula never leaves them. In Lupita's sweating and desperation and unstable kind of position, you see in your mind's eye a man sitting in a chair with a strange device strapped to his head and an core spinning in the device like seated in his crown. And he looks at you, and his eyes glow green, bright green. In your mind's eye, you can sense that he is made of the same stuff that was on those bones that was so desperately desired by the other way user that was inside of Dargor's chamber on Dargor's corpse. Zelri, you know that your chances of ever becoming a plant in a hegemonic situation like that again are nil. Your face is absolutely 100% set as recognizable by any hegemonic computer. So if you're going into anything that has to deal with hegemony and they say, well, we need someone to go in there, it's not going to be you. You know that because you are familiar with the hegemonic ways, you are familiar with the core worlds, you know how they operate, and you know that you are effectively made. Um, and probably out of the group, the most notable of this group, the face of this group. Um, and that'll come out more in the wanted, listings. Your picture is your, it's your,
There you go.
it's your employee picture that was on your badge, and theirs are like grainy pictures of them being caught from like random, like digital displays and catches and captures during the fighting, right? But yours is like totally crystal clear,
I
caught
picture two thumbs up at the
caught in
same time.
10K, like just 100%. Like they've got 3D scan, like they see the back of you, like it's all of that.
Like they just have a rotating 3D model of like from the shoulders up,
100%.
and then they just have like these blurry pictures of us where they're just like, what is that? Is that a human? Is that?
Dax, one piece of information that you were able to kind of capture is that this sequencing system seems to have been made in such a way that it was allowing for humans to feel like they were operating it. But once you saw the computer go down and you saw the Urbot input it, you realized that Ula's method of inputting was not too much like changed from the way it was being sequenced initially, which to you means that there was an sentience that was operating it. You don't know where that sentient is, and based on everything that Zelri, Ula, and Orin tell you, the cores that they dealt with were not sentients. And for you and Orin, your notes back and forth, and this humming that Orin starts to explain to you, for you kind of means that there's some sort of technology that's being exhibited here that neither of you are aware of and may in the future need to focus in on.
Well, I know where I'm going if I fuck off on another adventure.
100%. Tarash, when Zelri tells the crew that there were members of your species being taken to this facility and having tests performed on them, you immediately realize that the data pad that she was able to secure is perhaps an outlet for you to find out more about what happened here and what was done. Through the assistance of members of your crew, the data pad is able to be manipulated in a fashion that allows you to learn the names and also the kind of origin points and the whereabouts of members of your species. None are people that you know, as they seem to have been from different parts, different continents, or perhaps different sectors of your planet. But what you learn is that, according to their emotional registers, they have an ability to completely control members of your species. And from what you understand, you think that you've already experienced that on your homeworld during your mining operations and during your time there. You realize that it seems that the hegemony has kind of isolated a method to completely overtake your species emotionally and mentally to the point where they are unfortunately subservient. An absolute mind washing. And for you, it leads to trying to understand ways to protect against that. That's an option for next season when we start with downtime. Perhaps a clock methodology for you to kind of key to. Last but not least, Captain Jazz. So the situation for you was turned out quite well. The Stardust Serenade is a known name. Fortunately, that's not what you go by with your fake tracker.
Mhm.
According to what you
Yep.
were told by members of the rebellion, you hear that things are going quite well. You do hear that the pilgrims plan to straight fly a ship into the prince's palace 100% happened.
Hell
Good for them.
yeah.
And it sounds
Happy
like
for 'em.
Parias is now a warfield. The super class ship that I mentioned that the hegemony has placed here is positioned over Parias, and there are constant
fuck.
bombardments of the surface by it, but they are attempting to maintain specific areas and keep them not destroyed. And the other bit of news that you get, and this will determine at the beginning of next season whether we're even in the Dracia sector or not, but 3 more capital ships of the hegemony arrive in the system through an artificial gate that was created by the hegemony using tech stolen from the rebellion. The rebel gate
Damn.
that you had and that is on the map here is
It's
no
gone.
longer. And now
Well,
that
Stole it from us?
gate is here. And that is
Damn,
the
we
gate that they use.
stole. Or we caused a stir. We caused a real stir.
Yeah. So you can get out. You can get out of the system. It will be harder to go backwards, like into the Procyon sector, like back into the Procyon sector. You could head off into the Adlat sector, which is a whole nother sector, not a system sector. So that is an option too. We'll determine what we do next season. But I assume that this season ends out with like the ship kind of moving out into the stars, and you can see the dead star of Adlat off in the distance. The pale star kind of circles away from that, moves towards the ship, kind of enters in through the window, shows Captain Jazz, kind of like
Eating a sandwich.
eating
Just
a sandwich,
doing illicit drugs.
doing illicit drugs, and
And eating a sandwich.
thanks for watching those that did. And we will pick up with Scum and Villainy again. It is a game I do like jumping back into. Thanks for those that have kept up with it. And we'll see you next time. We'll be picking up on Tuesdays with Song of the Nameless, which is the D&D story that we were doing before. That will be starting next week, I believe. All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye.